You are watching SWAC Football on ESPN3. Tonight, it's a matchup that could determine the champion in the West Division as the Southern University Jaguars play host to the Panthers from Prairie View A&M at Mumford Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Hello, everyone. I'm Butch Alcindor, along with college football analyst Santoria Black. Thank you for watching tonight. And when you look at this one on paper, it could be a matchup between Prairie View's electric offense versus a Southern University defense that is ranked near the top in the SWAC.
Absolutely. When you look at Prairie View A&M's offense, they have such a balanced attack, rushing and passing the football. The front seven of this Southern University Jaguar defense will be extremely busy tonight, and they'll be challenged because if they miss assignments, they'll have some real problems.
No doubt about that. Let's take a look now at our impact players. And tonight we start with the visitors from Prairie View A&M. Keep your eyes on number 1, Dewanye Tucker, because this guy is explosive. He can score from anywhere on the field.
Absolutely. When I talked with Coach Dooley, one of the things that he spoke about was how much of a work ethic that Tucker has. Very explosive. Once he gets past that line of scrimmage, it's very hard to bring him down.
And for the Jaguars, they have the dynamic duo on offense. We start with number 8, quarterback Ladarius Skelton, who can definitely get it done. He has a lot of skills, and so does this guy, running back Devon Ben.
And he's been good. He is absolutely incredible. Over 300 yards of offense so far. But when you look at what Ben has done and you add that with Skelton and how he's been able to pass the ball, that is a really explosive combination.
Well, get your popcorn ready, folks, because kickoff between the Panthers and the Jaguars is coming up next on ESPN3. And welcome back to Mumford Stadium, everyone. We are getting ready for the opening kickoff between Prairie View and Southern University. This will be the 86th meeting between the two schools. And when you look at the last 10, Santoria, it's been a split right down the middle with the Panthers winning 5 and the Jaguars winning 5. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about Dawson Odoms, who's entering his 8th season as head coach of the Southern Jaguars. In those 8 years, he's never had a losing season.
He's really changed the culture of this Southern University football team when you look at what he's been able to do, changing the mindset as well.
Oh, no doubt. And on the other side, of course, it's Eric Dooley, who's entering his 2nd season. He spent 14 years as an assistant coach on this campus at Southern University, so he is very familiar with being in Baton Rouge and being on the campus here at Southern.
Absolutely, and one of the things that Coach Dooley has on his side, of course, when he was the assistant coach at Grambling State University, he won Assistant Coach of the Year in FCS football. Really is a great pedigree, has a lot of great knowledge, and has done a great job recruiting.
Okay, you're taking a look at Christopher Cheney right there waiting for the opening kick. As you can see, Southern leads this series overall 55-27. There have been 3 ties. Southern won the last 3 and 5 of their last 6 in the series. So first game was all the way back in 1930. That's a lot of history.
Yeah, a few years ago. There's no question. And that's the great thing. These two teams have tremendous history between them. Only 4 hours separate these two campuses.
So Amare Martinez will tee it up, and we are underway in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's a short kickoff fielded by the Jaguars. They fake the reverse. A lot of room wide open right there. And finally, Cheney is tripped up, but what a return by Christopher Cheney to get the Jaguars out of the gate in a hurry.
Absolutely. Prairie View has to do a better job of staying at home. Southern University has been known with a little trickery on special teams. They bit on the fake, and you started seeing Prairie View flushing out to one side. Southern comes to the other side. Great blocking.
We're going to get our first look now at Ladarius Skelton, number 8. He is the quarterback for the Southern Jaguars. This guy, all he knows how to do is win. He won 2 state championships in high school, won a championship in the junior college ranks, and he just gets it done. And Skelton, on the zone read, he keeps and goes up the middle for a short gain.
When I talked to Coach Odoms, one of the biggest things that he spoke about is winning first down. He wants to make sure that this team can get a good first down in order to make sure that they can open up the playbook on 2nd and 3rd.
This is something the Jaguars did against Arkansas Pine Bluff. They went to that up-tempo offense, and they got to the line and they ran play after play after play, and they were very successful with it during that ball game. As you see Skelton looking over to the sidelines, he's completing 58% of his passes this year. So far, off to a really nice start for the Southern Jaguars. They're operating on 2nd and 7 now. Comes on the option. He pitches to Ben. Ben has a little room near the sideline. He still goes forward and is dropped just shy of the 40-yard line by number 98, Ronald Collins, the big 6'1", 290-pound senior.
Option football is awful dangerous because it is assignment football. Prairie View will have to make sure that they pay attention to the pitch man. If Ben gets loose, he can go a long way.
Skelton, of course, took over last year, started the final 6 games of the year. This time, he rolls to his right, throws downfield, had a man open, but he overshot him. He was trying to hit Jamar Washington, the little 5'7", 165-pound receiver out of Alexandria, Louisiana.
Reginald Stubblefield along with Drake Cheatham, they both have to be extremely careful because that receiver got open in a nice little zone. Skelton passes that ball and gets it down just a little bit more. It's big yardage and possibly a touchdown.
Southern coming out trying to keep the balance on offense, trying to keep that good mix between the run and the pass. Skelton this time option to his left, still has it. Still has a man with him, and Skelton's going to pick up the first down and more before he's finally pushed out of bounds there by Cheatham. Number 22, Drake Cheatham for the Prairie View Panthers.
I tell you what, Skelton gave a little shove right there at the end, but what a run there by Skelton. As you can see, when he goes out and he flushes out, great blocking down the field, and he was able to get an open room. And that's what Southern's line is doing, is giving him open room.
This time he hands it off to Ben, and he's going to be tackled on the 20. Isaiah Washington, number 8, the big 6'4", 240-pounder. He's a transfer from LSU, making a big play.
Yeah, I've seen Isaiah Washington play a couple times this year already. Very impressive on defense. And again, this is going to be a big test here for the Prairie View A&M defense to try to contain the weapons of Southern University.
Talk about impressive. This has been an impressive drive by the Jaguars so far. Skelton on 2nd and 8, looking deep into the end zone and puts it up there, and it's incomplete. A fine defensive play by Jalen Harris coming over to help out on that play, the transfer from UTEP.
Hunter Register, the wide receiver from Southern, was so far open that somebody had busted coverage. As you see, Skelton is going down the field, going to the left side, but in the middle of the field, Hunter was so far open to the fact that if he would have seen him, it would have been 6 on the board. No one was around him.
Yeah, he went to the guy who was double covered on the play. A fine defensive play by the Panthers, but the Jaguars are still on the move. Ball resting near the 20. Skelton in the pocket, fires, has his man, is going to be complete, and he's going to have a first down. I think that little extra effort there, Darius Hawkins made the stop, but not before the big guy could get to the sticks for the first down.
Yeah, Titan just did a great job coming back to the football. Great coverage down the field. He knew where the first down marker was, came back, turned around, looked the ball in, and then turned up the field. Great technique there by the tight end to get a first down for Southern University.
That was Travis Tucker. He's 6'2", 240 pounds, and that was a fine play by the sophomore. So Southern now operating 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. The handoff goes to Washington, comes around on the zone sweep, and he's in for a Jaguars touchdown. Southern breaking out on top. They lead 6-0 early in this ball game over the Panthers.
Well, we heard an explosion, and that's what the Southern's offense is doing, exploding here in the first quarter. That was some great blocking going all the way around. Take a look at what this block did as the running back came around. Look at this block that's coming up. Hopefully we can see it right there. Just a great seal-off on the defender down the field, and that's the kind of downfield blocking that you need if you're Southern University. 6-0 with the extra point to come.
Cesar Baraja will add the extra point. It is up and good, and we will pause for a timeout. And as we do, the Southern Jaguars find themselves out in front, 7-0 over Prairie View.
So, just to reiterate, this watch tells time, among other things.
Just like they did 2 weeks ago, the Southern Jaguars are off to a quick start. They moved the football well. Of course, both teams were off last week. So 2 weeks ago, the Jaguars took on Arkansas Pine Bluff. They came out and moved the ball up and down the field with a lot of authority, just like we saw on that first drive.
Yeah, great blocking by the Southern University front line. Those buffet busters just really moving people out of the way. They're like, get out of there. And that's what you need if you are that offense. You need that kind of a push. And for Prairie View, they have got to make sure that they start defending that sweep, because they're really killing them right now.
So Baraha tees it up. Panthers feel it deep. That is number 1, Tucker. So we will see them on offense. 1st and 10 from the 25. DeWanye Tucker, of course, will be starting in the backfield. Now let's take a look at their quarterback, because Jalen Morton, boy, we expect to see a lot from him tonight as Coach Dawson Odoms looks on. Of course, Morton, number 12, he's a second-year starter, and Coach told us this week, Santoria, that he's just maturing and growing as the season goes on. He's the type of guy that can beat you with his legs and his arms.
Absolutely. Very strong. He's led this team, and that's why they're number 1 in total offense in the SWAC.
He dumps it off to Tucker, and look at Tucker reversing field. The little guy has some room to go, and now he has nothing but daylight in front of him. One man to beat. Tucker cuts it back, and the Panthers from Prairie View A&M start out with an explosive play before Kenan Tate could finally corral him. But we said he was electric, and this is why.
I want you to take a look at what happens downfield. Now, not only Tucker does he make a play, sees nothing open there, comes back to the other side. Watch what Jalen Morton does down the field, taking on a lineman. He starts to follow his block right in front of him there, and all of a sudden, big yardage for Prairie View.
Huge gain for the Panthers. They come back and they hand it to DeWanye Tucker again. And the little guy goes inside before he's knocked down by Benjamin Harris.
Yeah, great filling right there for Southern University, filling those holes, making sure Tucker doesn't get loose. We know that Tucker's got a lot of wheels. Can you believe this kid is just 5'5"?
He is exciting to watch. I'll say that much for him. He has a lot going. He has that speed to get around the edge, and he just makes everybody better because he's always so excited. This time, though, nowhere to go as the pass is completed to Chris Johnson, and he is caught and dropped by senior Joe Davis, the big 6'4", 255-pounder from New Orleans.
Joe Davis did a great job of staying at home and not allowing anything to get in front of him. Take a look at what Morton does as he gets that ball out there, but the defender did such a great job in staying at home and takes the runner down. That's just great defense there by Southern, and then he gets the help from his teammates.
3rd down and about 8 to go for Prairie View. A shot near the sidelines is thrown behind the receiver. That was Chris Johnson, who appeared to have a little separation there, but the pass from Morton was a little off the mark. And so Prairie View will stay on the field for 4th down. So early in this ball game, Coach Eric Dooley apparently is going to take his shot. 4th down and about 8 yards to go, and the offense is still out on the field for Prairie View.
This is the number 2 scoring offense in the conference, and they say that, you know what, we're on the road. It's 4th down and 9, 4th down and 8 here. We're in Southern territory. Let's make a statement early.
He has a lot of confidence in his offense and really a lot of confidence in the man who pulls the trigger on those passes, Jalen Morton. So here it is, 4th down coming up for the Prairie View Panthers. Morton with a nice pocket, has a man wide open, and he hits him in stride. A beautiful pass to Chris Johnson, and a Johnson appears to be shaken up on the play, and he looks like he walks away limping. Benjamin Harris once again on the tackle, but you can see Johnson going down there.
Yeah, maybe a cramp, but look at what Morton does. Steps up in the pocket, nice delivery on the throw, just wide open. Johnson gets in between defenders in the seam, goes down the field. I'm not sure if this is a cramp or not, but Johnson did a great job in just getting down the field, and this is a guy that Prairie View needs on offense, getting a little bit of assistance coming off the field.
And he's been targeted early in this ball game. We've called his number a couple of times, but what a big play by Prairie View. 4th down early in this ball game. They know they're going to need some points to keep up, and boy, they got it. And what a conversion on 4th down for the Panthers.
Oh, that's huge for Prairie View.
This time the handoff to DeWanye Tucker, and he is close, but he is spun down by Davin Cotton, right near the goal line. I think he advanced all the way to the 1, but did not get over the line. So Prairie View will be knocking at the door.
Tucker, once again, explosive, finding that little bitty hole. He doesn't need a lot of space. I mean, he's only 5'5". He can get lost down there, but those hands, you got to be careful if you're defenders. Saw a little hand get in the face mask just a little bit on that play. Got to be careful. That could cost you big.
5'5", 180 pounds. He's a senior, leads the SWAC in rushing coming into this one. He started the day with 662 yards and 7 touchdowns. This time we have Caleb Broach, and then we have a penalty flag on the play. Caleb Broach was in the backfield, the bigger back, the power guy, but he couldn't get the snap off before the penalty flag.
Yeah, all kinds of movement over that left side of the Prairie View A&M line. Southern University pointing in the direction of the Panthers, and this will cost the Panthers 5 yards here. And that's what you do not need. As a matter of fact, when you start looking at Prairie View, they are the #1 most penalized team in this conference, averaging 112 yards in penalties a ball game.
So that was referee Marty Adams singling for the penalty and marking the football back to around the 6-yard line. So the Panthers will start from there. Morton still at quarterback. He's got good size, too. Fakes it to Tucker. Morton keeps around the right side and scoots in for the touchdown for the Panthers.
That's going to be a
holding call. And we do
call.
have a flag on the play. It came down early. You kind of had a feeling what might be going on there, but that's going to be a costly one.
Yeah, that's going to be holding against Prairie View. As Morton was coming around, you could tell that the line, that offensive lineman on that right side got beat there. It's going to be Eric Dunn who was on the hold for it right there. You can see right there he got him on the hold, just grabbed all of them, just shoulders and just everything. That's why he had to pin. Now in wrestling, that'd be a good takedown.
Yeah, it would have been. But when you're that big offensive lineman and you're on the outside like the right tackle is there, you got to keep those hands inside. You can't because the officials can see that. And that's a costly penalty for the Panthers because it's going to take points off the board. So they're operating now second down from about the 16-yard line. And Morton scrambles out of the pocket, still on his feet, breaks the tackle, and dives down to about the 3-yard line before Davin Cotton can make the tackle on the play. But once again, Morton getting it done with his legs.
Once again, another flag on the field. It's going to be holding again against Prairie View A&M University. That will back them up. 3 consecutive penalties, and they were first down and goal at the 1.
And right now, the Panthers are their own worst enemies here. I mean, they had the football when all this started. The football was resting on the 1-yard line. I mean, they were about to push it in for a touchdown. Now, we're all the way back on the 26-yard line.
Justin Medina, the sophomore from Katy, Texas, on the hold there for Prairie View. And now you're second and goal from wherever.
Jalen Morton looking deep. Fires a strike, and he gets it in for the touchdown. What a throw and what a catch for the Prairie View touchdown.
Kalen Riles on the touchdown. He is the redshirt junior from Tallahassee, Florida. And what a job by Morton to get that into some tight space. When you look at what Morton does, he's looking, he's really patient, great blocking by the line, and just delivers a strike right to the receiver who got just beyond and in between the defenders. 6 on the board for Prairie View A&M. We could be in for a shootout here.
That was not bad coverage on the play, but when you rifle it in like that, you can beat a lot of that good coverage in the secondary, and he squeezed it in for a touchdown. A great play. The extra point is good by Martinez, and just like that, despite the penalties, we're all tied at 7-7. Well, you said it on the top, Santoria, that we could expect to see some fireworks in this one, and 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and, you know, Prairie View A&M did a great job in that particular series, but here's where they've always had a little bit of trouble, and this is something Coach Dooley spoke about. Those penalties can really kill you. They had the same problems against Nicholls State earlier this year. Turnovers and penalties took them out of that game, and those penalties almost took them out of this drive.
So the kickoff goes to Christopher Cheney again. Excuse me, that's number 27 this time. Shaiki Thomas on the return, and once again, Southern getting big yardage on the kickoff return.
That sets up the offense extremely well. When you can get out beyond the 30, 35-yard line, that really sets up the offense extremely well. Now, for Prairie View on defense, you've got to really turn things around on that running game because Southern did such a great job in getting that running game going in the first series.
Yeah, but, we can't stress enough how important it was. They went on 4th down. They got 3 consecutive penalties at one point. Everything that happened, they overcame it on that drive.
They sure, and that's what it's about, overcoming adversity.
So Ladarius Skelton back out at quarterback for the Jaguars, looking to throw, pulls it down quickly, breaks the tackle, and comes right up the middle for close to a 5-yard gain for Skelton. We can run the ball pretty well, too. Joshua Williams over there on the stop.
Southern is opening up the playbook here just a little bit and getting 5 and 6 yards on 1st down. That really helps Coach Odoms because he really wants to make sure they're not in 3rd down and long situations.
Empty backfield for Skelton this time. He has 3 wideouts to his left. He's looking that way, comes back the opposite way, completes his pass, and a nice gain right there, and a good tackle by Ronald Collins. But the Jaguars picked up a big 1st down there.
Prairie View A&M initially had the receiver stopped in the backfield. You can see right there was an opportunity to stop in the backfield, missed the tackle. Southern was able to get big yardage and a 1st down there. But they were in the backfield. They were right there in order to stop it.
Kendrick Jones on the reception for Southern once again. Ladarius Skelton again. This time he hands off, and then there's nowhere to go. This time a great defensive play. It was Kendrick Jones again. And a great defensive play by number 20 for the Prairie View A&M Panthers, Trayshad Smith with a big play.
Yeah, Smith did a great job staying at home and just not allowing the runner to get big yardage. And that's what you have to do. It's disciplined football. If you look at this film from Southern University, they have a tendency to want to run things wide, come out extremely deep in the backfield, and then come out wide. Prairie View did a great job staying at home.
He's their leading tackler, and you saw an example of why right there, number 20 with a tackle for loss. And this time Skelton under pressure finds his man. It's Ben who tries to spin out of trouble, but he couldn't do it. Fine defense by Prairie View on the play, including Darius Hawkins.
Yeah, once again, I'm really impressed with what Prairie View did in adjusting on their defense. You could tell the pressure was coming, and here comes everybody staying right there at home. There's the help, and what a defensive play there. That's what Prairie View needs here.
Now we have a big 3rd down and 14 yards to go for the Jaguars as Skelton calls out the play. And we saw what happened on the other side when Prairie View had 3rd and 4th and long. So this time it's the Jaguars are facing that situation. Skelton with a lot of time to pass, looking way downfield, has a man. There was a little contact, but no harm, no foul on that one. And you can see the receiver register, Hunter Register, saying he thought he might have been pushed a little bit. Logan Jackson trying to help out on the play.
Jackson looked like he did get a hand on the receiver, but not enough to really call the penalty. Great one-on-one coverage, but Hunter did a good job in trying to get down the field and just gets a little bit of separation.
So that will set up a punting situation for the Southern Jaguars. Barajas is on the punt. He's averaging 43.4 a kick. Number 19, Tony Mullins, awaiting the kick, and it's blocked. Big pressure up front by Prairie View, and they block the punt attempt by Baraja, and all of a sudden the Panthers come up with a huge play on defense.
And that was just because of a huge rush by Prairie View A&M University. Look at that bull rush just coming right up the middle of the field. And, I mean, just nowhere for the punter to go. Great block and a great special teams play that shifts the momentum back to Prairie View A&M.
You know, Ahmad Antoine did not get the block. He was close to it, but he blocked one 2 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
And so here he is again, helping to put the pressure on the play, and you called it. But now the Panthers are set up in great field position with the football resting at the 13-yard line.
And as good as Southern University's defense has been, when you put them this deep in their own territory, it's really tough.
Morton this time with a pitch to Mullins, and he takes it the opposite way. Of course, he was the punt returner on that play as Jordan Eastling made the tackle. He was waiting for the punt that never came. So the Jaguars are in good shape after a pickup of about 4 yards on the play. Morton just does it all. I mean, he does it with his arm, does it with his legs. This time he's going to run it. Has some room. Cuts inside the 5. Gets it all the way down to about the 3-yard line before he is finally wrapped up on the play by a couple of Panthers there. Excuse me, a couple of Jaguars there.
We'll take a look at what Morton does. Calls his own number, steps up, doesn't see anything there, comes back to the other side. Nice block there by one of the linemen, and just getting inside. That's what they needed.
And we have an injured Jaguar down on the field right now. And he's being attended to. The Kavion Champion, number 91, is the injured player right now. We can't really see what the problem is, but he's coming off the field on his own power, so that is a good sign. But talk a little bit about the patience that Martin showed on that run, because he didn't give it away. Took his time, waited for that blocking to develop, and then he took off.
And that's the whole thing when you're calling your own number. Morton, I've seen that twice this year, and what he does is that he'll see something, and especially in that shotgun formation, he'll look, and as you can see, he didn't see anything in the way he wanted to go, brought it back to the outside. But you said the word patience. That's what they have to do, is have the patience in order to make sure that play develops.
In their last 14 games at home, the Jaguars 13-1 with Prairie View knocking on the door. DeWanye Tucker trying to create, and he could not, because he's caught and dropped by Caleb Carter, the big 6'1", 220-pound junior.
Well, that was great defense by Carter. When you take a look at what Tucker was trying to do, goes and sees nothing there, and as he's trying to bounce to the outside, Southern was already on his heels. Great defense by Southern in pursuit.
Just a good job of Carter for staying home, playing that technique, and waiting for something to come back and not chasing ghosts the other way.
And that's what you need. You need those kinds of patience when you're talking about a runner like DeWanye Tucker. He can make something happen fast if you miss.
Morton on second down has flushed out of the pocket, and he is taken down again. That Southern defense has come to life. Calvin Lunkins with help from Hunter Clay making the big stop as Morton was forced out of the pocket.
Yeah, he was forced out there. He broke that play up a little bit because there was a tremendous rush coming right into the backfield. Morton then just had to try to make something happen, but Southern's defense, again, being patient, was right there to give him a big bear hug.
A big bear hug, indeed. Yes, it was. So all of a sudden, we talked at the top about how Southern's defense was ranked near the top, and all of a sudden like that, when they needed it the most, they're showing it. So Martin on third down fires for the end zone, and he's too long. Was trying to hit Tony Mullins over there, but he overshot his guy. Jacoby Papillon on the coverage right there for Southern.
You know, the good thing about that pass, if you're Morton, is if it's a little long, it doesn't hurt you. If it's short, the defender, he did a great job of getting his head around. If that pass is short, he picks it off in the end zone. So now Prairie View A&M will set up here for a field goal.
Amore Martinez on for a 29-yard field goal attempt. Mullins will hold. He has a long of 36 this year. So far, he is 2 out of 3 in his field goal attempts. This time, Martinez kick, and it's going to be wide. So that one wasn't even close at all. So after the field goal miss, 7-7 here at Mumford Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We have talked so much about that Southern defense, we've kind of forgotten a little bit about their offense because they're pretty good also. You can see the Jaguars averaging 33 points a game. You talk about total yards, 354. That's ranked 8th. That 33 points a game is 4th. And then rushing yards there, 203 a game. That is 3rd in the SWAC.
Yeah, they are really potent. They can get you in a lot of different ways.
So this time, Skelton turns and hands to Christopher Cheney, and he has nowhere to go. There's a host of white shirts led by Jason Dumas. They're a big defensive lineman there. Of course, he's one of their impact players. He can play defensive end or defensive tackle.
Got some yellow laundry in the backfield right there, and usually it's right around the area of holding.
We will get to hear from Marty Adams again, our referee for tonight. So that will bring up second down again.
It's holding against J.I. Carter. the offensive lineman. It was declined.
Yeah. So the Jaguars operating 2nd and 12. It was such a defined defensive play. They had a loss on the play, so they declined the penalty. And inside is Christopher Chaney for a short gain before Jason Dumas comes up again, his 2nd consecutive tackle. And you know, I think you talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast tonight. This Prairie View defense, they've had some up and down moments this year, so a lot is riding on their backs tonight to keep the Panthers in this one.
Yeah, it is. They really have to be careful. That front 7 will be tested because if you are not disciplined, the Southern can hurt you.
Skelton. A lot of time to throw, and the ball is intercepted. He had a man open. It's intercepted. Drake Cheatham. Cheatham down the sidelines is finally knocked out of bounds. But what a play by Cheatham. It appeared that we do have a flag on the play. It could be for the late hit. It could be for the excessive celebration. But what a play is by Skelton as he comes over.
Yeah, he was trying to go down the field, as you see in the replay here. He tested the guy in the secondary, Cheatham, and he was just able to step right in front of the receiver and go downfield. And then he was hit right there by Skelton out of bounds. That's the penalty. Cheatham is one of the guys that, when I talked to Coach Dooley, said he has improved so much as a player. One of the guys, when he came into the system, he was just like, you know what, I really want this guy to improve, and I want him to be able to be a part of this system, but he's just not what I want him to be right now. And you look at what he is now, Coach Dooley puts a lot of faith into this young man.
Marty Adams having some trouble with his mic, but I think that could have been the late hit out of bounds and then maybe a little excessive on the celebration there. Either way, it's going to be a fine defensive play for Eric Dooley's team, coming up with that big turnover there by Drake Cheatham, giving the ball back to the Panthers. And the officials are still talking this one over.
Yeah, because here's what the official just said. He said there was pass interference on one side and then a late hit personal foul on the other side, and he just gave 2nd down. If that's the case, it's still Southern ball.
Well, let's see. He's got to explain this to Eric Dooley because he wants to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, and the officials just said 2nd down, so I'm trying to figure out what he was talking about here.
That was a 3rd down pass.
Yeah.
So
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
I'm not sure where the 2nd down came from.
Because he held up 2nd down. I'm like, 2nd down?
Yeah. Here comes the Prairie View offense now with great field position. 2 flags on the play. Either way, when the end result is Prairie View has the football resting on the 21-yard line. And the last time down here, the Panthers missed a golden opportunity when they missed the field goal. So here they are again, just shy of the red zone, trying to make something happen. Jalen Morton passes high. He had a man running right at that post pattern, and he just overshot him. That was Travis O'Connor.
Yeah, that was just a little bit high. And, of course, the receiver was right there coming back towards on that post pattern. But on those last 2 penalties, both of those were right calls. There's not a question about that. There was pass interference, and there was a late hit. There was no question about that. And I think that was just a question now of trying to find the spot of the football. And Prairie View now in a 2nd down situation.
1:41 to go here in the first quarter. Morton being patient, looking around, surveys the field, and had his man right near the sidelines. Let's see whether or not they mark it as a catch. And a fine play. The official said yes. Nice catch by 19, Tony Mullins.
And that would be a 1st down, wouldn't it?
They're going to mark it down. Let's see where they put the sticks. Yes, sir. That's going to be a 1st and goal to go for the Panthers. Take another look.
Morton steps up, doesn't see anything, now scrambles off to his right, and just what a pass. No one else but the receiver could have gotten that football. That was just a very good pass.
What a great catch. This time the handoff goes to Dewanye Tucker, and we have whistles on the play. And the officials will wipe that one out.
So they're going to take a timeout here for replay, according to what the official just said.
Caleb Carter making the stop. And so while they go over to talk about the replay, that was Dewanye Tucker on the carry. And earlier this week, before this is a big game. Keep in mind, Prairie View beat Grambling in their last outing before having the bye week. Dewanye Tucker tweeted out something, calling out the Jaguars a little bit, and then he tagged Coach Odoms on the tweet. So they're going to take another look at the catch again. I guess they might be checking to see whether or not it's a completed pass.
Well, as you can see, the ball sailing right here. Receiver going down and getting the football. The question is, did he trap it or did he catch it? And from that vantage point, it looked like that he had both arms, both hands underneath the football, and then rolled and kept complete control. So just from that vantage point, it looked like it was a catch. Great camera work by our guys.
And just to wrap up the Tucker tweet saga, Coach Odoms told me this week when we talked, he said, yeah, I saw it. He said, I said, well, what'd you do? He said, I liked it and I retweeted it.
Well, look, when you're going into the other man's house, I don't know if I would retweet or tweet something out like that. In the last game that Dewanye Tucker had against Grambling, he ran for over 260 yards on the ground. Had a great game. But you know what? It's kind of one of those things, you're kind of poking the bear a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned that 263 against Grambling. I mean, he was unstoppable that day.
Incredible. Ruling on the field stands. It is a catch, and so Prairie View did get that completion on the play.
I might ought to add, your lip reading skills are outstanding.
From years of seeing microphones not work sometimes, it's one of those things you just get used to sometimes.
So the Panthers are going to be in the red zone. Ball should be placed around the 11-yard line when we get cranked up again. 1:03 to go here in the first quarter, and we are locked. We are locked in a 7-7 tie.
Now, one of the things that I want to see if Prairie View does is playing more discipline up front. No false starts, making sure that they don't hold, because they had 3 consecutive penalties when they were first and goal last time.
Let's see if the Panthers run the ball if they go behind number 50. This time he's going to pass it off the zone read, and it's intercepted in the end zone. What an interception. I think it's Tamaree Smith who just grabbed that ball and pulled it out.
And a flag for pleasantries being shared after the play was over. But what an interception by the defender. Talk about stepping right in and catching the football. Dangerous throw here if you're the quarterback. Look at where he throws that football. I mean, it is right there. And you talk about a huge defensive play, just getting his hands out there. And he wasn't just trying to knock it down. He was trying to take it and did a great job of stepping in the middle of that pass.
2 weeks ago, Tamaree Smith jumped into the lineup because of injuries, did an outstanding job against Arkansas Pine Bluff. This week he's rewarded by getting a chance to play and comes up with a huge interception.
So that penalty is going to go against Prairie View basically after the interception. And that will give Southern University even more yardage. As
you see Dawson Odoms there getting an explanation on the sidelines. And what a great defensive play by Smith, though. He was right in the receiver's hip pocket, just dove in there and made the play. I mean, just an outstanding play at a crucial time in the red zone. I talked to Coach Odoms about that. I said, they turned the Golden Lions from Pine Bluff away 3 times in the red zone, and here it is happening again tonight.
Prairie View once again shooting themselves in the foot. They've done that a few times this year inside the red zone, and no money.
Skelton hands to Ben, and boy, I tell you what, Dumas was a man. He was right there, took him down immediately in the backfield.
Dumas, man, he is absolutely incredible. You see the hit that he laid on Ben, and that is the kind of defensive tenacity that this young man shows. Just really gets after the football.
So 2nd down and 11 now for the Southern Jaguars. Skelton in at quarterback with a roll to his right. Fires near the sidelines and a completed pass on the play. That is number 14, TJ Bedford, hauling it in. The 6'4", 190-pound sophomore from Covington, Logan Jackson, over there to help out on the tackle.
Originally, Jackson played up on the receiver and then dropped back, giving a lot of room for Skelton to have an option for a check down, and that put Southern University in third down and short situation.
Well, that'll do it. The end of the first quarter. We are all tied at 7 apiece.
Other things.
We're back, and right now you're taking a look at Prairie View assistant head coach Bubba McDowell, the former Houston Oiler. He's over there calling the defense. He's the cornerbacks coach also. So, Bubba, a lot of experience at being in this tough situation. As you well know, a lot of great players played in the SWAC. Well, when you talk about great players from Prairie View A&M, how about Kenny Houston? How about Otis Taylor and the great Jim Kearney? I mean, the history is long. We could go up and down the list, but those are three outstanding ones. And, of course, Kenny Houston is in the Hall of Fame, and they don't let everybody in the Hall of Fame.
Let me tell you, Prairie View has a long history of great football players. And if you go back and look at, they are one of the original members of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. As a matter of fact, the only original member that's left in the conference.
Yeah, and a lot of history and a lot of good football players coming out of that program there. So we will pick up Southern now with a key third down as we start the second quarter. Third and about 2. The handoff goes inside, and it's going to be close. It's going to depend on the spot. That was number 48, Gerard Sims, on the carry. And he got the first down for the Jaguars.
Outstanding play there. Now Jags can continue in business here, keep that defense off the field.
So that was a key first down because we are early in the second quarter. That was to keep the drive alive. 1st and 10 for the Southern Jaguars. Southern comes in, and this time it's Ben trying to spin his way out of trouble, and he just had nowhere to go. Number 8, one of the guys there, Isaiah Washington, but there was a whole lot of white jerseys in the backfield to make that stop.
Yeah, now one of the officials talking to one of the Southern University players, things are getting a little bit chippy down on the field, and you can see that Ben goes, spins one way, tries to spin out of trouble, spins here again, then he gets hit, spins again, and then finally just twisted down. And you can just see they're just wrestling all the way to the ground. And each of them just kind of explaining themselves down on the football field, and the officials kind of saying, hey, don't do it so loud.
Trayshot Smith blew that play up in the backfield. This time Skelton under pressure, dances away from it, still has the football, fires near the sideline, has a completed pass and a big play. That is Bedford shaking, baking down the field, and a huge pickup for T.J. Bedford before Logan Jackson could put an end to that play.
Busted coverage here, and that's just because Skelton, he tries to do something here, can't find anybody, and he's got such great patience. He forgot about the receiver here on the sideline, and the next thing you know, they're getting big yardage.
So we do have a man down on the field. It's a Prairie View A&M player, and we will check on his status as he's being looked at now on the field. It appears to be number 8, Isaiah Washington, for the Panthers. As they take a look, they help him to his feet. Actually, it's 92, Dumas. That's a guy they don't want to miss there. I mean, he's a big part, the heart and soul of that defense.
Yeah, Dumas, one of those guys that has been such an instrumental part of this defense so far. It looks like that he is okay walking off under his own power. And I'll talk about Prairie View A&M for a minute because they have someone that's going to be elected into the Southwestern Athletic Conference Hall of Fame, and that's Dr. John Granville Osborne. He was instrumental in spearheading the formation of the Big Five, which consisted of Bishop College, Samuel Houston, Wiley, Paul Quinn, and Prairie View, representatives to Houston, Texas, September 10th, 1920, when the Southwestern Athletic Conference was formed.
Very interesting. First down for the Jaguars now after that huge play. This time the give is to Washington, and he slips away from a tackle. The little guy, Jamar Washington, he's 5'7", 165, but he came away with a big play before Joshua Williams could take him down.
And yet Williams just luckily he was there and played a little bit of safety there because this kid here was about to get into the end zone.
Well, they use him in so many ways. They use him on the jet sweep, as you saw. They use him as a pass receiver. They use him as a runner. He's 5'7", 165, but boy, does he play with a lot bigger than that when he's on the field. So the Jaguars knocking at the door this time. And it's going to be stopped at the 4-yard line. That is Skelton on the keeper. And you can see a lot of that extracurricular activity going on after the play as Skelton keeps before he's hit. And it's getting very testy down there.
You know, and I know Coach Odoms, I've had a chance to talk with him on multiple occasions. When the offense comes to the sideline, he's going to talk to his quarterback and tell him, hey, we need you to keep a cool head down on that football field. We do not need you getting penalties, and lo and behold, not kicked out of the ball game.
Second down for the Jaguars, and it's going to be Skelton again on the keeper, and he's upended by number 47, Joshua Williams, and that was a touchdown-saving tackle.
It sure was, because Skelton was headed into the end zone, and he thought that he had nothing but daylight in front of him, and all of a sudden he was just upended. Great presence by Williams to stop that play.
You see Coach Eric Dooley looking on with a little concern as the Jaguars right now are facing a third down from the 3-yard line. So what do you expect here, Santoria? A run, a pass option for Skelton?
I think Skelton's going to be able to call his own number if he wants to, but look for Ben.
Skelton over the middle, man, wide open. It's a touchdown to Hunter, register, and the Jaguars have their second touchdown of the night.
I thought that there was movement on the Prairie View defensive line, but nonetheless, it looked like that. Let me see here. Well, it looked like that one of the Prairie View defenders crossed the line of scrimmage, but what a play there, just wide open. Hunter was in the end zone. But no penalty on the play. Southern University on the board for 6.
It was a shoe.
Yeah.
I saw it down there, too. It looked like laundry for a second, and then someone went over and picked it up. So the extra point is up and good from Baraha. And just like that, the home team back out in front. Southern up 14-7 over the Panthers from Prairie View A&M. And welcome back to Mumford Stadium, or as our spotter, August Walker, calls it, the jungle. And they're ready for action tonight. 14-7, Southern leading the Panthers from Prairie View A&M. We were talking about NFL greats a minute ago. How about the greats from Southern University? The great Mel Blount, who's in the Hall of Fame. And then how about Harold Carmichael? All those years, they're talking about a big receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. And then Isaiah Robertson, the great linebacker from the L.A. Rams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an impressive list, just those three.
And I can think of another one that should be on this list. That's Aeneas Williams.
Yes.
Outstanding player at Southern University.
So the kickoff goes to DeWanye Tucker, and boy, he's Mr. Excitement, trying to make something happen as he dives over the 20 to give the Panthers the ball. That's where they will start 1st and 10 on offense. But if you're Prairie View and you're Eric Dooley at this point, you got to be happy with the way your defense has played so far in this ball game, because you've had some opportunities offensively. They have a missed field goal, and they have had a huge turnover in the red zone, so they've had opportunities.
Yeah, you've had the opportunities, and that's the good news. The bad side of that is that you've left 10 points on the board so far. And in a game in which Southern University's offense is really starting to click right now, both in the passing and in the rushing game, you really got to make sure that you're taking all those opportunities. If you go back and you look at that Nicholls State game that Prairie View A&M had, the first half they were so dominant against Nicholls State. Then all of a sudden you turn around in the second half, turnover on downs. You had an interception. You had all kinds of things happening, and Nicholls just kept scoring. And all of a sudden you were out of the ball game. That's one of the things that they got to be careful of here, is not leaving points on the field.
Eric Dooley firing up his troops there, and as you can see, the penalty flag pushes the ball all the way back. So the Panthers from Prairie View A&M will start with their goal line right at their backs there. The ball resting on the 6-yard line. Morton looking a quick pass, almost picked off, but it's completed to Tristan Wallace. What a play, a gamble on defense and a fine tackle by Jalen Ivey, but that was a very dangerous pass.
Boy, Morton likes to live on the edge, because, pretty soon Coach Dew's going to take medicine with those kinds of passes.
This time he pulls it out, has a man, and a big hit is delivered over there by Smith. What a fine play by Maurice Smith. And that young man is continuing his outstanding play, and somebody is down on the play.
Yeah, the receiver that got absolutely walloped is down on the play.
Well, you just mentioned it, though. He threw that ball out there, and the receiver really had no chance because the defender had a running start on that play.
Good grief. And look at this throw again. Really, first of all, it was high and left him just out there. And look at that hit. You talk about a textbook tackle. That is a square up and let me just decleat you type of hit. That's going to go on his highlight reel. No question about that. And when you look at Prairie View A&M and that young man, you hope that he's okay. But number 85, Kalen Riles, boy, he is going to remember that. And he's going to hear the skippity paps every single time that the ball comes near him.
Wow. I mean, that was a big play on defense. So it's now 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Firing to a wide open man, and that is Tony Mullins who makes the catch. Morton once again fires a frozen rope, and it's a completed pass before Easterling brings him down. Eastling brings him down on the catch, after the catch.
Right in between the defenders as well.
This time, Dewanye Tucker shaking and baking in the backfield. He could escape one tackler, but not two, before he is finally dragged down there by Joe Davis.
Yeah, Southern doing a good job staying at home, staying disciplined, and because Dewanye Tucker is such an elusive type of running back, it's so important that you don't think, okay, I got him. You have to make sure that he is down because he has ways of staying on his feet.
Jalen Morton, a lot of time this time. Good protection up front. Has a man open, and he just overshot him. He was looking for Travis O'Connor. Had a little daylight there, but the pass was a little too strong.
Yeah, O'Connor found a little bit of daylight right behind the defender. And the defender's got to do a better job of getting out there one-on-one. If he would have caught that ball in stride, he may have been going for 6 on that particular play.
3rd down and 7 this time for the Panthers. And another strike and a completed pass. That one was good to number 86, Kobe Washington, and that's going to be a 1st down for the Panthers.
Kobe Washington, what a reception. He just came back to the football.
This time, Caleb Broach, and he's the big one. He's the thunder in that thunder and lightning backfield. Broach definitely brings the thunder, and we have an injured Jaguar player who looks like he's going to limp off the field.
Yeah, Broach, he is one of those guys that when you go and tackle him, you better mean it. Because if you get your arms around him, you might just end up in the ground looking up at the beautiful Baton Rouge sky.
Right now, Panthers have the Jaguars off balance a little bit. This time, Morton with some time. Now he runs out of time and just steps out of bounds. Does the wise thing there.
You know, Morton does a great job staying disciplined because he could easily try to force that ball down the field. Instead, great decision to get some great yardage down the field, and now you put yourself in a 3rd and 1 situation just inside the 25-yard line.
Jalen Morton looking over to the sidelines, wants to make sure he has the right play. A key 3rd down, fakes the handoff, and a good pass to Travis O'Connor. And once again, the Jaguars convert on 3rd down. Chase Foster in to make the stop for Southern. Once again, the Panthers converted on 3rd down.
And I don't know what happened, but one of the players, his shoe came down, and so he laid down so the officials would let him get off the field. But on that particular play, when you start looking at the wide receiver, Travis O'Connor, you could tell that all he was going to do is just try to find a soft spot in the zone open in order to get the 1st down, getting beyond the 1st down marker.
And that's got to be good communication between quarterback and receiver, and they had it. And once again, the gift to Tucker. And the Kavion champion, the big fella from Spring, Texas, 6 foot, 290-pound senior, went to Decaney High School, made a nice play there.
Boy, he is a low 6 foot, 290. He might be a biscuit away from 300.
This time, Morton tries the wide receiver screen. He was looking for number 86, Washington, but the pass is off the mark.
Washington was coming back to the inside, and I think that he broke that route off just a little bit too soon because you saw that pass, and it was going back to the outside. So they got to be careful on that communication. If he turns around just a little bit sooner, he gets that catch.
So that will bring up another 3rd down for the Panthers. Jalen Morton has been good at converting on this drive. Throws it over, and he has his man. It's a completed pass to Caleb Broach, but he's going to be taken down quickly by Benjamin Harris.
Southern did a great job of playing up, especially on that play. Receivers downfield were covered, but then you could tell he was looking for Broach, and there was just nothing open on that play. Let's take a look at Broach. Thinks he has something open, and look at the pursuit on defense on Broach. He has nowhere to go. Great defense by Southern University.
Good catch and a good pass on that play. We have a timeout on the field. It's going to bring up a key fourth down play. You know, Prairie View has been so successful on this drive. We'll talk about that when I come back on third down. But we're going to pause for a timeout in the booth since they have one on the field. 14-7, Southern out.
Other things.
And the Prairie View Panthers are facing a key fourth down play, fourth and short. Looks like about 2 yards, and they're going to go for it. I thought they might bring in the kicker after the timeout, but we got Morton and company back out on the field with the offense. This time he throws behind him. He throws to Wallace. Wallace in trouble, and Wallace is dropped. Tristan Wallace, it was going to be a trick play, and he could not get away from Jordan Lewis, who dropped him in the backfield on fourth down.
We just talked about where's Tristan Wallace at, and then we see him right there. But this was good defense. This play really didn't have a chance to develop. And watch the discipline of Southern University. Wallace couldn't go anywhere, and as he was trying to retreat, lost his footing, and he had nowhere to go. That really caused Prairie View right there, and that is a huge momentum builder if you're Southern University.
Wallace was going to throw that football, and he never had a chance. If you watch it, Morton made sure he threw the ball behind the line of scrimmage so Wallace would have a chance to throw a forward pass, but because the Jaguars just snuffed out the play, had no chance.
And great defense down the field, too, by Southern University's secondary.
So once again, Southern coming up big in the red zone to deny points on the board. This time, double reverse pass, setting up here, way downfield into double coverage, and it's going to be an incompleted pass.
Coach Odom's one trick turns to another. That time, it was almost intercepted, and then the receiver ended up having to play defensive back to make sure that the defensive player did not get that interception. Just take a look at this. It developed well. Here's the pitch out, and then, but great coverage down the field. In double coverage, he threw that football, and just incomplete. Luckily, Southern University will get a chance to get the ball back here.
Yeah, it appeared it was Marcus Whitaker who threw the pass, but great credit goes to Prairie View on defense because they were not fooled at all on that play. I mean, they stayed home, and it's a long, incompleted pass. So we'll come back second down, and we have whistles on the play as the officials will stop it. And they will back them up 5, and Skelton will operate from there.
Now, Southern University has a great opportunity here to really take control. But look at how Prairie View is playing right now. Watch to see if they do a little bit of a delay here.
Skelton with a lot of protection has a man wide open near the sidelines. Nice play right there by Hunter Register, and he's going to take it close to the first down. And I think, let's see where they mark it, because he's going to be extremely close. And he's going to be short. So it's going to bring up third down after Ronald Collins hustled in to make the stop. And you see the Jaguars going quickly back to the line of scrimmage, trying to get set as they change personnel with a key third down looming.
Jared Sims, the running back, now coming into the football game for Southern University. Sims actually had a chance to play against Edward Waters. Sims ran over the defender and broke his leg. He is that powerful.
Oh, he's their power guy, no doubt about that. This time Sims gets the football and picks up the first down for the Jaguars.
And that's why Sims is awfully powerful. The coaching staff really likes this young man. You know, he's playing behind Ben, and this is the guy that they're looking at for him to really do something.
But they don't disguise it. When he's in the ball game, usually he gets it in short yardage situations.
Look at that power running through the front line, and just absolutely just takes about 3 or 4 defenders with him.
Handoff goes to Ben, and he's stacked up as he goes off tackle. Not much room there at all. Trayshad Smith, the leading tackler for the Panthers, came up with the stop.
Yeah, I talked to Wayne Cordova about Sims, and he said that when you watch that run develop, it was just him and the defender. and he got down and hit him so hard in the midsection that when he was trying to move, his leg just didn't move anywhere. It got stuck in the ground, and he broke his leg. But just a tremendous running back in Sims. They're going to have him for a long time.
2nd and 8 for Southern. And pressure is on, and Skelton is going to be taken down in the backfield. Trayshot Smith there with some help. I mean, a big play in the backfield. Stephen Scott also helping out on the play.
Watch out, Skelton is just steamrolled here. Here comes the pressure.
Scott.
Right there, and then boom, right there. They're going to have to take some aspirin here at halftime.
Man, we've seen Trayshot Smith come up with a couple of big plays. He's their leading tackler. But you know what I really like about him? His favorite food? Red beans and rice.
There you go. Put a little sausage in that puppy.
Yes.
You're all good to go.
3rd down and 15. Skelton again protected well. Now he scrambles out of the pockets, going to tuck it and run, and he steps out of bounds short of the 1st down.
Skelton gave the defender a heck of a stiff arm at the end of that play. And this is just good patience. You don't see anything. Take off with the football. He takes it and he tucks it. Doesn't hold it out there like a loaf of bread. Goes down the field. And look at this. Right at the end of the play. Just give a little shove.
That was Drake Cheatham, number 22, who got him out of bounds. He's the 2nd leading tackler for Prairie View. So Tony Mullins goes back to receive the punt from Baraha. Baraha averaging over 40 yards a kick this season for the Jaguars. Gets it away. Mullins takes a look, but it takes a bounce. It takes a Prairie View bounce as it comes upfield, but a pretty good punt. 14-7, Southern out in front. We're going to take a break and be right back with more action in Baton Rouge.
This watch tells time and takes phone calls and communicates with satellites thousands of miles above the Earth and tracks your distance underwater and tracks your activity and tells you which direction you're going and has an app that measures the electrical waves traveling through your heart, otherwise known as an electrocardiogram. So, just to reiterate, this watch tells time, among other things.
14-7, the Jaguars leading the Panthers here in Baton Rouge. Let's take a look at some of the award winners this week in the SWAC. We'll take a look at that right after this play. We have the Panthers on offense now. Of course, they've had, we mentioned it before, they've had a lot of opportunities in this ball game. So Jalen Morton and company will start this time 1st and 10 from their own 15-yard line after the punt by Baraha. So Morton turns and hands to Tucker, and he has freedom. Tucker with his first big run of the day as he comes right up the middle before he is upended there by Chase Foster. And we take a look at the SWAC award winners for this week. Akil Glass, he's a guy that can spin it. I mean, he can really spin it. You go down the list, you see McCarthy, of course, from Grambling, Garcia from Texas Southern. And as we come back to live action, it's Tucker again, and the Panthers are trying to get him involved in the offense.
Oh, absolutely. Tucker's one of those guys that if you can get him started, he starts getting on a roll, you got a little trouble. He is extremely hard to bring down. I mean, like, when you look at him, you just like, this little guy, what is he really going to do? And then all of a sudden you go down there, this dude is solid. And when I'm talking about he works really hard physically, Coach Julie said this is a guy that when you start looking at the type of regimen, it's incredible.
This time the pitch goes to Tucker, and he is tripped up from behind by Joe Davis. And, of course, we talked to Coach Odoms this week, and he talked about Davis. And he said, you know, he's finally starting to come into his own. It's his senior year, and he said he's reaching that potential we thought he might have.
Yeah, Davis is really somebody that Coach Odoms likes to see. He's really enjoyed the way that he has increased his play on the field.
Martin on the zone read, pulls it out, keeps it, picks up a nice gain, and a first down for the Prairie View Panthers. So once again, they're moving the ball up the field.
The great thing is the only laundry that you're seeing come out on the field right now, not the yellow stuff, but there's towels, shoes, a mouth guard. So as long as that kind of laundry is on the field, teams are happy.
So the Panthers operating 1st and 10. Morton turns and hands this time to Caleb Broach, and the big fella has nowhere to run. I mean, there's a white wall right there with Kyle McGregor, one of the guys helping out on the play. The Kavion champion also there, so Southern had that one smelled out. Jordan Lewis also helping out.
Well, he was coming across the line. He had a brooch of a Southern Jaguar right there on his chest, coming across and putting him down.
2nd down and 9 yards to go for the Panthers. Morton with a lot of time, with a soft pass over the top. He was trying to hit Tucker on the rail route, and he just didn't lead him enough because he had a couple of steps.
Tucker should have caught that football. That was a ball that hit him in his hands. When you look at this football, although it was thrown just a little bit short, that hit him right in his hands. The defender never turned around to see where the football was. That was 6 on the board if he catches that football.
Yeah, because nobody's going to catch him in the open field. And the thing about it is he's a really good receiver.
Oh, yeah.
He's a really good receiver out of the backfield, so that's a rarity to see him drop that one like that. But that's going to be a huge play for the Panthers now. 3rd and 9 for Morton. Broach with a good block on the blitz. Morton in trouble, fires over the middle, and it's going to be incomplete.
Well, they're lucky that ball wasn't picked off by the defender.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Morton that time.
Yeah, O'Connor was the intended receiver right here. And as you look at this ball being fired, he steps up, does a great job, spins out of trouble. But, man, look at that. It just sails over the defender's head and too far out there. And so now it's a 4th down situation for Prairie View, and they will not be going for it here on 4th down.
No, the Panthers will definitely punt the ball away. Caleb Darbone in to punt it away for Prairie View A&M. He gets the kick away, and it is deep. And what great coverage by the Panthers on the play. Number 24, Brandon Hinton, and he's going to be wrapped up after he tried to return that punt.
Well, he's going to come over and get an earful because you got to call fair catch with a guy that's that close to you. You could have gotten just absolutely leveled there. He's very fortunate that he didn't get knocked into the ground or a ball didn't come out there.
Well, you're living dangerously there, but a nice play. He held down to the football and good coverage by the Panthers. So that will give the ball back to the Jaguars with 1 minute and 24 seconds to go here in the first half, with the football resting at about the 17-yard line. That is where the Jaguars will go to work behind Ladarius Skelton, the big 6'2", 210-pounder from Pine Bluff, Arkansas. He comes on the option play, keeps it, breaks the tackle, still on his feet before he is wrapped up after a nice gain there. Darius Hawkins coming in to make the final put the final touches on that tackle to take him down after a 5-yard gain.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a good opportunity here for Southern University to try to make something happen. They got 59 seconds left and a full complement of timeouts.
Two Jaguars behind Skelton. This time he hands off. Has his runner coming near the sidelines. That is number 28, Christopher Chaney, and he got out of bounds. And it was Drake Cheatham, who's their second leading tackler for the Panthers, who helped to push him out of bounds.
Yeah, Cheatham, we talked about this earlier, just how much they really like this kid. Really has improved in the system. Coach Dooley said that this is the kind of improvement that you like to see in your players develop, not only as a player, but as a person as well.
Yeah, came into the game with 38 tackles, but I'm sure he's added on to that quite a bit since we got this one underway. That will bring up a first down now for the Jaguars after that play. This time the handoff goes inside, and it's going to be Chaney again, dropped in the backfield by Ronald Collins. So Collins in there. That Prairie View A&M defense is really stepping up. I don't know if you saw the Alcorn game a couple of weeks ago, but Prairie View found themselves in a big hole. They couldn't do anything to stop Alcorn, and then all of a sudden they got it going the right way. They started to figure it out and coming up with some really big plays defensively.
Coach Dooley said that in the first quarter of that game, as a matter of fact, they just couldn't do anything. They couldn't pass, they couldn't run, they couldn't do, and they finally started making a comeback. That's been kind of Prairie View's mantra, not being able to get started the way you want to or not finishing the way that they want to, and not putting together two halves of football. And once again, they're having to step in the middle of some things here.
And that will wrap up the first half, and what an exciting first half it was, with the Southern Jaguars clinging to a 14-7 lead over Prairie View A&M. We're in Baton Rouge. We'll be back with halftime festivities and
through your heart, otherwise known as an electrocardiogram. So, just to reiterate, this watch tells time, among other things.
We are at the half, and the Southern Jaguars are leading the Prairie View A&M Panthers 14-7 as we talk about an exciting first half. Let's start with some of that Prairie View A&M action because it was fast and furious. DeWanye Tucker, we talked about what he can do, and this is a great example of it.
Yeah, reversed his field after not seeing anything on one side of the field, comes back in, doesn't run out of bounds. He is so greedy because he wants to get every single yard that he can. And then you look at Morton just going down the field. What a strike right in the middle of the defenders, not afraid to do anything. And then a big special teams play by Prairie View, stepping up, getting the big play.
Special teams are huge. This time it's going to be intercepted by that Panthers defense. Drake Cheatham coming over to help out on the play, came away with the interception. And then the late hit called on Ladarius Skelton. And then this time, the big defense, the pressure coming. Big pressure on the play. Trayshad Smith and company leading the charge. And it was a really good first half for the Panthers, even though they're trailing 14-7. It was a great first half with a lot of action.
Absolutely. And looking for Prairie View, they've had their opportunities, but they got to step up.
Okay, we'll be back with more halftime festivities. 14-7, Southern out in front. Welcome back to Mumford Stadium in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, where the Southern Jaguars lead Prairie View A&M 14-7. Let's take a look at how Southern got some of those 14 points on the board in the first half because they did a great job, including this little guy, Jamar Washington, scooting in for the touchdown. And then how about Ladarius Skelton, the quarterback, working his magic to Bedford?
Absolutely. And then, of course, you see where Bedford goes in, and he's getting some big yardage right there. And then take a look at this defensive hit. Man, that's got to be one of the plays of the week right there.
Tay Maurice Smith coming in and talk about a defensive play of the week. How about that one right there by Jordan Lewis on a fourth down play, coming up with a huge stop to keep the Panthers off the board again.
Yeah, and then also, you know, what wasn't on there, Hunter Register gets his third touchdown of the season. He leads all receivers for Southern with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, but what an impressive, we did mention their defense at the top of the broadcast, how Southern had one of the top defenses in the SWAC, and they're proving it tonight. And you see it when they get in the red zone. That's when it's happening, and that's what happened 2 weeks ago when they traveled up to Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what you want. You want a hungry defense that's able to get after the football, make things happen. You know, Prairie View was able to move the ball pretty good at one point in time, but then, man, you look at what Southern did in just really disrupting the Prairie View offense, but Morton is holding his own.
Okay, let's pause for another timeout now. We will come back with some of the stats from the first half with Southern leading Prairie View 14-7.
It should take 17 minutes.
Play the Bill Simmons podcast.
Sure, playing the latest episode of Bill Simmons podcast.
And we're listening to the Human Jukebox perform at the halftime, of course, with Southern University leading the Panthers from Prairie View A&M 14-7. Let's take a look around the SWAC now. You can see Arkansas Pine Bluff with a big win tonight over Mississippi Valley. And then you move down. How about Alabama State knocking off Jackson State 31-16 in that one?
Yeah, that was a huge win for Alabama State on the road. And if I'm not mistaken, this is their homecoming at Jackson State University, and a big loss.
And then over in Houston, Texas Southern also celebrating homecoming, but not tonight as they lose to Missouri S&T 23-20 in that one. And as we move on, Grambling, though, with a key win tonight as they knocked off Alabama A&M.
2 in a row now for the Grambling Tigers under head coach Broderick Bombs. They win against Jackson State big last week, and then, of course, taking the reins here against Alabama A&M, holding Akil Glass to under 200 yards passing.
Yeah, that's excellent defense there. And I did Grambling's game 2 weeks ago, and they had a heck of a game. They did a great job, last week. And now you look at them, they started the season 0-4.
0-4.
And then now all of a sudden they got 2-0 going.
Yeah, in 2011 they started 0-4, went 7-4, and actually won the conference in going to the conference championship.
And as expected, Alcorn State knocking off Savannah State 42-17. Back to our game here in Baton Rouge. I want to ask you, Santoria, what do you think, if you're Coach Eric Dooley, what do you think he's telling his team at the half?
But one of the things that he's telling his team is we got to finish. We can't afford to be in the red zone and not score points. That's something that's extremely big. Interception that was thrown in the end zone, that was because of a great defensive play. But the other thing is that they have to make sure that they're not hurting themselves. They were 4th down and whatever, and then they were able to get into the end zone. But you cannot continue to hurt yourself and take advantage of being in the red zone. Same things that have happened throughout those games. When you saw against the Nichols, Grambling, they almost gave one up there. Now in this game here, they've got to make sure that they continue to take advantage of when they're in the red zone.
The red zone has been huge. That's been a big thing, though, for that Southern defense. They've been priding themselves in denying teams when they get that close to scoring points.
Yes, Southern has been doing a great job. And if you look at their scoring defense, this is a very good defensive front. The front seven is extremely patient. We've seen that today. And how hungry has the secondary been, taking some chances, stepping in front of a few balls, and instead of just knocking them down, they're getting some interceptions.
Well, we're expecting a lot of action here in the second half. We're going to take another break now and come back with second half action. Southern with a 14-7 lead over Prairie View.
Hey Google, how long is my commute?
It should take 17 minutes.
Play the Bill Simmons podcast.
Sure, playing the latest episode of Bill Simmons podcast.
Let's take a look at some first half stats with the Southern Jaguars leading Prairie View 14-7 because it was an exciting first half. As you can see there, the rushing yards go to Southern, 79-47, and then the passing yards, though, flip the other way as Prairie View got 166 in the first half.
Yeah, when you look at it, Southern University is being outgained by Prairie View A&M. That means that Prairie View was moving the football. But it's where they didn't get the football that matters. They didn't get in the end zone. They missed a field goal, got an interception in the end zone. Those are the things that will come back to haunt you later on.
The other thing that was surprising, look at the time of possession. They almost evened that thing out. It was a little one-sided for a while, but as you can see, it kind of balanced itself out.
It is. But, you know, the number that I think that Coach Dooley has to have on his mind, 5 penalties, 42 yards. This is the most penalized team in this conference. They've got to make sure that they're not shooting themselves in the foot.
Looking at some of the individual stats, Jalen Morton of Prairie View, 11 of 19, 166, and a touchdown. And Dewanye Tucker only carried the ball 8 times. That's a little surprising. 32 yards on 8, at a net of 25 on his 8 carries.
Yeah, you know what? Tucker has done a great job, but, you know, Southern University defense has been keying in on him. That's been one of the keys of the game when you talk to this coaching staff. When I was talking to Coach Cordova, he says if we don't start and pursue Tucker, it's going to be a long night for our defense, and that's what they've been doing. They have been really getting after the football.
When you flip it over to the Jaguars, Skelton off with 8 carries for 36 yards, and Jamar Washington, who ran a couple of jet sweeps, and he had 25 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, you know, and that's something Southern's been running well. That jet sweep has been extremely effective early on in the ball game, especially that first drive when they scored the touchdown. They kept running out wide. Prairie View could not do anything with that particular play. And so, you know, hey, this is the second half here where Prairie View's got to put it all together if they want to win. If you're Southern, you got the momentum. You've really played well. You got to continue to play well defensively. Make sure your offense is clicking. And the one little intangible that you don't see in the stats, if you're Coach Odoms, I'm sure he told his quarterback Skelton, keep your head on your shoulders. Do not let yourself get angry.
And speaking of Ladarius Skelton, 8 of 12 for 76 yards and a touchdown. And, of course, he didn't have that many yards, but he had the big plays because when you look at Timothy Bedford, 2 catches for 47 yards.
Yeah, and, you know, I want to just say this here. This has been a game in which this could have gone either way depending on the opportunities that were taken. But fortunately here for Southern University, they kind of gotten out a little bit of a rut. They stopped Prairie View. They made some big plays defensively. The hits, the interceptions, just really have made some big plays.
Well, you can see Cesar Baraja getting set to get this second half underway. And that young lady came prepared for this one, brought the blanket out and everything, and that's what you need.
Oh, absolutely. It's truly a fall evening, a little bit nippy, but extremely nice.
Dewanye Tucker is upended, and he is down. A big tackle there by the Jaguars on special teams. So that is where the Panthers will take over. And we talked a little bit about this at halftime, but what do you think Coach Eric Dooley wants to see out of his team on this first possession of the second half?
I think setting the tempo, controlling the football, and not making mistakes. Play their game and see what Southern is giving them here. If they're rushing the football, if they're coming and they're trying to blitz you, get the ball out of your hands. Don't sit there with it. If you don't see anybody downfield, keep going. But you've got to play your game.
Jalen Morton at the helm again to start the second half. Takes it out on the zone read, throws a pass, and that was a nice read by the quarterback. Morton there popped it into Jordan Jones for a nice gain. Benjamin Harris up to make the stop.
Jordan Jones, the transfer from Grambling State University, on the play right there. It was a very slow moving as far as developing play. Everybody sucked in to see what DeWanna Tucker was doing. And guess what? All of a sudden, Jordan Jones open for the pass.
Jones from smack over Arkansas. I've never been there.
Yep. Not too far from Louisiana, just on the other side of the border.
Okay, Morton looking deep. He has a man, a little push on the play, but Kalajuwon Chris came away with the catch. Jordan Eastling on the coverage, but what a catch by Chris, and he did have a little shove on the play.
Yo, that was just an amazing catch by Chris. When you watch him and the concentration that he has in pulling down this football, great throw here. He couldn't haul it in for the catch as far as being complete, but man, what a catch right there.
Yeah, and he just did not hang on to it long enough, they said, right? Correct? Let's see.
They said the elbow came down out of bounds.
But that doesn't take away from what was a spectacular catch all the way downfield, all for naught, because it's going to be a 2nd down and 10 for the Panthers. But he got away with a little shove, and then he made a great catch on the play, even though he was out of bounds. Just
a little love taps for separation.
So here comes Morton on the keeper, and Morton turns on the Jets, and he gets away, and then he uses that power. He's 6'4", 225 pounds, the senior from Arlington. In fact, his coach told us this week he reminds him of a young Cam Newton.
Yeah, he took off with the football here. He was able to break a tackle and then just took about 2 or 3 defenders with him.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because when Eric said that, he goes, you know, I just got to compare players. I like comparing players. It doesn't mean he's going to turn into Cam, but he reminds me of a young Cam Newton. As you see Tucker going inside for picking up about 4 yards before DeCavion Champion is there to make the stop for Southern.
Got a Southern University player down on the field, and I believe that's Davin Cotton, the defensive tackle, who's down.
Yes, and he's been very active tonight. He's been all over the field making plays, and as they take a look at him, we always hope that is nothing serious on the play, and he's helped up there, and he's going to walk it off. Whatever it is, it looks like he's going to shake it off and come to the sidelines.
I played football when I was a kid, and it looks like his arm or hand or something was hurting right there. But as playing football, one of the things that a coach used to tell me is if there was a difference between being injured and hurt. And if you were not seriously injured, put a little dirt on it and keep on going.
It sounds better than it works.
Oh,
really.
Yeah, it really is.
Jalen Morton in at quarterback. Fakes the handoff to Tucker. Under pressure. Fires downfield, and the ball is incomplete. That was almost a big play by the Panthers.
Well, the one thing that I did see is that the ball was almost intercepted and then, of course, almost caught at the same time.
And we have a flag down on the play. Pass was intended for Jeffrey Rector, number 87.
They're going to call the eligible receiver downfield.
Let's take another look here.
They faked it to Tucker. It sucks everybody in for a minute, and then that throw all the way downfield right there, just past the tips of the hands of that defender, and then all of a sudden the receiver couldn't come up with the football.
Jeff Rector had his hands on it, just couldn't hold on. And this time the completed pass comes to Wallace with a nice catch. Tristan Wallace cutting inside on the slant play with a big pickup for the Panthers. He's going to be very close to a first down. It's going to bring up a 3rd and short for Prairie View A&M.
Tristan Wallace leads this team in receiving. Over 5 games, he's got 339 yards, averages about 68 yards a game. And still, we did not call his name but one time, and that was when he was sacked off to that trick play in the first half.
Yeah, trying to throw a pass. This time, the give in the backfield goes nowhere. Caleb Broach, and he's met in the backfield by number 47, Caleb Carter and Lunkins.
Well, the daylight that the runner thought that he saw with that blue was a nightmare. That was just a sea of the Southern blue just plugging up every hole possible and just getting right there into the runner's face. And that's something that they got to be careful of.
That's another fourth down coming up, and the Panthers are going to go for it again. Morton this time looking for the short pass, has a man, and it's going to be a first down. Back to Wallace again, making big plays as Jacoby Papillon made the stop.
Seems like they're trying to get Wallace back involved in this ballgame as the team's leading receiver. That was just a great catch by Wallace. He knew where he was, and another big hit. There's going to be a lot of aspirin to be taken after this game.
You were just mentioning earlier that they needed to get Wallace more involved in the offense, and Coach Dooley is thinking along the same lines. This time they hand it to Tucker. He goes behind a couple of his big friends. Tucker still on his feet, falls forward for another first down for the Panthers before Benjamin Harris could make that stop.
When you can get behind your line and just keep on going, I mean, look at number 71 right there. You got to get behind somebody like that who's just going to just close out all of just don't let anybody hit the runner.
Well, and then Tucker is just so quick. I mean, he averages 8.2 yards a carry. Look at him in the backfield. You can't even see him really behind the line. And I'm sure when you throw in that speed, it makes him a real threat. This time, it's going to be Morton on the keeper. And he shows some of that big strength there, able to push the ball forward before Carter could make the stop.
He got right behind Kobe Lewis, the offensive lineman, 6'3", 310 redshirt freshman from Cypress, Texas, once again, and just really just follow the building in the daylight. That's what you do.
Yeah, and Coach told us a little bit. Eric Dooley talked about his offensive line and how pleased he was with them, and especially with big DeJon Jones leading the charge. I mean, he's been very pleased with the way his line has matured throughout the season as the snap gets away from Morton, and he does the smart thing by just falling on the football to make sure he made the recovery.
And those are the mistakes that we talk about. They get the momentum, they're driving, and then all of a sudden a mistake happens there, and it takes them just completely out of what they want to do. So you go from an opportunity to where you can get into a field goal range or whatever. Now you're third down and about, 20, 25 here.
Well, it's more like third in New Orleans. But they've already they've converted on that already today. So hey, you can't count the Panthers out. It's third in the ways for Jalen Morton and company. So Morton with an empty backfield. Has great protection, a three-man rush. So he sprints out to his left, looking downfield, can't find anybody, going to keep it, and Morton goes up and over as he's upended near the sidelines by Tay Maurice Smith with a big hit.
Jalen Morton is calling for somebody to come back out because he had to play Superman at the end of the play. Morton doesn't find anybody. Good coverage down the field for Southern University, and he just takes off with the football. And as he's coming down the sideline, eludes a tackler right there. He's hit, thrown over, flips about 5 yards, and figures out, I need somebody to come out of the game, give me the game for me.
Well, and I think Coach would have been a little happier if he just would have stepped out of bounds, but that's going to set up a field goal attempt. It's going to be a 21-yard attempt by Amari Martinez. Martinez, good kick, good snap, good hold, and his kick is no good. So once again, the Panthers are denied. 14-7.
Playing the latest episode of Bill Simmons' podcast.
Back, everyone. 14-7 Southern out in front, and Prairie View having trouble with the kicking game tonight. Amari Martinez, his second miss on the night in this one, right into the upright.
Yeah, he kicked this one, and I mean, it hit the upright so hard that it was still moving after both teams had come off the field. Second miss. They're now 4 of 8 on the year in field goals.
So Ladarius Skelton and the offense from Southern University will take over, and this time he gets away from the pressure. Still on his feet before he is thrown down by number 20, Trayshad Smith, the leading tackler for the Panthers. You mentioned that Coach Odoms, he does a pretty good job when he has an off week, coming back the following week.
11-2 coming off of the bye week, and he's extremely good. When you give him time to prepare, he doesn't lose very much. Very heady person. If you talk to him, man, he's not only about football but about life, extremely knowledgeable person.
The motion man is Washington, and the give to him actually is number 9, Cameron Mackey. And Mackey on the jet sweep picks up yardage inside for the Jaguars before Dylan DeCoeur could come in and make the stop.
You talked about Coach Odom. I had a chance to talk with him before the Bayou Classic one year, and he talks about the life skills that he discusses with his team, not only about those things that happen on the field, but also how to carry themselves in life.
So 3rd down and short for Southern. A lot of time for Skelton, and it's picked off. The pass is picked off by number 23, Jalen Harris, and he takes it in for a touchdown for the Panthers. So it's the Prairie View A&M defense coming up with the big plays after the offense misfired.
He read this one perfectly. And watch this. Skelton was reading his receiver, looking, and all of a sudden, looking where that defender was right there, just was able to step in front of the pass, and there was no one there. Skelton did not have a chance to catch up with him, and it's 6 on the board for the Prairie View A&M Panthers. That is the shot in the arm that this team needed.
Harris, the transfer from UTEP, he's 5'10", 176 pounds. He's a junior, and he read that play all the way. So that would bring on Martinez now with another opportunity, and his kick is up and good. So that time, Amari Martinez converts, and just like that, we're all tied at 14 apiece. Panthers doing it with their defense.
Turning flashlight on.
We have a good old-fashioned showdown here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, between Southern University and the Prairie View A&M Panthers. You can see ball game tied at 14 apiece as we take a look at the standings in the West Division. And we talked about how crucial this game was on the top. You can see Prairie View at 2-1, Southern at 1-0. If the Jaguars can hang on tonight, that would be a huge win on their way, maybe to their second straight Western Division.
Yeah, that would be really huge because you think about it now, Prairie View would have 2 losses in the division. It'd be very hard for them to come back. The only team then that would have 1 loss is Arkansas Pine Bluff. And so Southern would really be in the driver's seat.
And right now, Southern is trying to regroup on offense after that interception return for a touchdown. The kickoff. And it is fielded, and it will be, oh, well, now he's coming out with it. It's number 27. Shaiki Thomas couldn't decide what he wanted to do, and then, you know, if you think long, you usually think wrong, and that's what happened on that play.
He thought that he thought that he downed the football, but he caught the ball in the field of play, tried to down it, but then they figured out, hey, you got to run it back out. That's why they kept pursuing him.
But with the new rules, he could have just fair caught it right there and took it, taking it on the 25. So that's kind of a miscue right there that may come back to haunt them.
Yeah, they're starting off deep in their own territory. And I just wanted to mention this. We were talking about the Western Division standings. Southern wins this game. They not only win and take the lead, but they win the tiebreaker then with Arkansas Pine Bluff. So even if Southern lost the game, they would still have 1 up on Pine Bluff because they beat them head-to-head.
So Ladarius Skelton and the Southern offense trying to reload offense with an option to the left side. The pitch goes to Devon Ben, and Ben works his way upfield for a first down for the Jaguars.
Seen a couple of the Prairie View A&M Panthers lead with their shoulder in order to try to tackle Ben. He's really an explosive player, and he's extremely strong with his legs. You got to make sure that when you go in and try to tackle him that you wrap up and you really drive through the tackle.
Drake Cheatham made the stop after that gain of 11 for the Jaguars to start the drive. Skelton with a great fake on the option pitch, and he kept it inside. And again, good defense by the Panthers. Kendon Jones, number 46, there to help out on the tackle.
Yeah, Skelton trying to make something happen on first down. And he keeps pushing, but it's going to be second down at about 8 here for Southern University. Prairie View just has to keep playing aggressively on defense.
You're on the sidelines, on that Dawson Odom sidelines. What are you telling your team after that big turnover?
You've got to make sure that you take advantage of any opportunities that you have. Let's not make mistakes. That's the biggest thing that you're saying. Let's not make mistakes in this ball game.
Skelton fires one out near the sidelines. He has a man. It's a completed pass. That is Washington, and he is upended in a hurry. So good defense again by the Panthers. They've been doing just a great job. They've been stepping up to the cause tonight.
They said that pass was incomplete.
Reginald Stubblefield over there covering, and there it is. A good job by Stubblefield knocking the ball out. So it looked like it was a completed pass, but he did not hang on, and he did not complete the catch. So Dawson Odoms has his team coming up with third and about 8 yards for a first down.
Great angle there by the cameraman to see that ball come out the last minute, because we couldn't see that over here.
Skelton with good protection again, a three-man rush, so he does have time. Comes out and sprints over near the sidelines, and another first down, I think, for the, yes, sir, another first down for the Southern Jaguars as he picks it up, scrambling out near the sideline.
Great patience by Ladarius Skelton there. I mean, all he did there was try to look downfield, trying to see what was going on. There was nothing open, and instead he just pulls it down. There was open space. Lineman there you saw got away with a little bit of a hole. No harm, no foul there. And Skelton able to get a big first down here to continue the drive.
Skelton again calling out the signals. Puts Washington in motion. Hands off on that jet sweep to Jamar Washington. He has room up the middle. And the little guy, all 5'7", 165 pounds of him, comes up with a huge play for the Jaguars before Drake Cheatham could get it.
The little engine that could comes around the edge and just takes off. It's like a shot out of a cannon. And by the time they find him, he's got a first down out midfield.
And they've had a lot of success with that play in the ball game tonight. This time it's an option left. Skelton on the keeper. Going to pick up about 5 inside, but a good read by the quarterback, still on his feet. And let's see, he is ruled down. That was very close. He was almost spun away without touching down, but now the officials say he was down on the play.
Yeah, Skelton did a great job getting behind his offensive line. So, that was the last play that we saw by Skelton. But Skelton did a great job just getting by his offensive line. He went right by him, able to get big yardage on first down, now second down and 4.
Southern on the move. This time the handoff goes inside to Ben. Nice cut. That stop and cut, and then he picked up as much as he could. He doesn't mess around. I mean, that's what makes him so impressive. I mean, he's their leading rusher, and he just stops on a dime, cuts back in, and gets everything he can get out of every play.
Just moves on a dime. That just takes incredible footwork and discipline to be able to move on a dime like that. And if you're a Prairie View A&M defender, you think you got him one way, and then he cuts back the other way. Really great discipline running by Ben.
This time, Skelton fakes on the zone read. The ball is up in the air and should have been intercepted by number 33. Making the play for the Panthers. That is Tariq Mulmore. Mulmore had a good shot at that ball while it was in the air, but when a ball is tipped like that, you kind of hold your breath if you're on offense, because it's anybody's ball at that point, and it ended up being an incomplete pass. So that was a break for the Southern Jaguars.
Yeah, it sure was, because Tariq Mulmore really had an opportunity to shut this drive down.
So Skelton off the zone read, has some time, throws it over in the backfield, and Washington will be upended right there by Trey Shad Smith, the leading tackler who's putting on a show tonight.
Transfer from Mississippi Delta Community College from Centerville, Mississippi, doing a great job of just really honing in on that. That's how you get in and you start trying to make a tackle. But again, got to watch that with those arms, throwing runners down. If you've got a good running back, you try to throw somebody like that, they're going to get away and they can possibly go down the field.
You know, he said if he doesn't get an opportunity to play pro ball, he wants to be in real estate.
Yeah.
Wants to sell real estate. I said he'll probably do pretty good at it, too.
Yeah. You got a couple of players here on this team that really want to get into some great things after college.
Third down, Skelton in trouble again, buying some extra time, and he has his man. That's a completed pass to Bedford. T.J. Bedford got the foot down on the play, so a great job by Skelton showing the patience.
Bedford had a big catch in the first half of the ball game, and here Skelton just being a magician, buying some time, and just wide open. No one was around the receiver.
And we have a flag down on the play. It's going to be defensive holding on the play. And, of course, that one will be declined, and it will be a first down for the Jaguars. So this has been a truly impressive drive after you throw an interception for a touchdown to come back and move the ball downfield the way the Jaguars have.
Absolutely. But Prairie View's just defensive secondary, you've got to make sure you keep an eye on those receivers.
Skelton on the option right. Pitches back. And not much going on right there for Christopher Chaney. He was trying to get around the outside and could not make it. So a fine defensive play by Drake Cheatham and that Prairie View defense.
3 or 4 yards on that particular play. And again, Prairie View's defense there, front seven moving well. Everybody pursuing the football, not allowing a lot of pursuit up the field.
It's been a really good drive for Southern, though. They've been in control on this drive. They've made the big plays when they've had to. 2nd down now and 7 yards for a first down. Skelton on the roll to his left. Looking, can't find anybody, and he's going to be escorted out of bounds right there by that man again, Trayshad Smith.
Yeah, Smith that time just continued to spy on the quarterback, did not let him go anywhere. He pulled the ball down, started running. Smith wrapping it up, taking him out of bounds. And you know what? Skelton fell kind of awkwardly there as he was going out of bounds. And those are the things that you almost hold your breath to make sure that you don't get injured. But a big play there by Prairie View's defense now sets up 3rd and long.
3rd and 17 coming up for the Jaguars. So Skelton has thrived in this situation in this ball game tonight. We'll see what he does on this play. This time, fakes it inside, has some time, rolls to his right, throws underneath, and the pass is dropped by Christopher Cheney, and he had some green open spaces in front of him there.
Yeah, I'm sure his teammate who would want to sell him real estate would have sold him all of that there. Skelton comes around, and he was wide open. I mean, him and Jesus, that's about it. And he couldn't pull down the football. I know he wants that one back so bad.
Sometimes that invisible man can do some funny things while you're out there. Of course, that will set up a field goal attempt now. A 44-yard field goal attempt from Cesar Baraja. Good snap, good hold. His kick is away, and Baraja drills it.
Man.
So how about that? Comes away with a big kick for the Southern Jaguars, putting Southern back in front off of the kick by Baraja. It's 17-14, the Jags in front.
Okay, message sent.
And that's the beauty of a football game. You know, everybody gets to stay up late. Doesn't matter how old you are. Mom, I want to go to the football game. You get to stay up. And tonight, they're getting to watch a good one. 17-14, the Jaguars are leading the Panthers.
But, you know, this is a two-nacho night. You know, you had one in the first half. You got to have another one in the second half because, you know, you get nervous. So you got to eat a little bit more here in these types of football games. They got some good food down here at Southern.
Hey, why not? And you see Baraja with a kick that gets away from him. And I don't know if it looked like it was going out of bounds, but the return man may have touched it first. Instead, they are going to call the penalty. That's a close one. That's a very close one.
Yeah, they are. Coach Odom's not happy about that call. He is right out there trying to talk to one of the officials because he thought that the return man caught the ball inbounds and went out of bounds. Yeah, they're going to call kick out of bounds on Southern.
Yeah, but you know what? I saw that, and technically if the return man touched it first, that's where it is. And if he touched it before he came down, the ball's in play.
Here's a ball that comes down here, and you can see where it looked like it was headed out of bounds. He caught the ball out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
Yep.
He caught it out of bounds, and there is a chance on that hop it may have touched the line too. So the officials all over that one with a good call. A really tough play on the sidelines, but they got it right. So Prairie View operating 1st and 10 now. Morton keeping the football inside, and he uses his power to just push forward for yardage for the Prairie View Panthers. He comes up with about 6 yards on that play, and that's the thing about Morton. It doesn't look like much when he takes up, and then you see where the sticks are, and he's got 6 yards on the board. He's got 6 yards for his team.
Falling forward, that's the whole idea here. Get another yard or two there, and so now you're in business at 2nd and 4.
This time he hands to Tucker. Tucker's still on his feet. He pushes forward, and he's going to be very close to that first down, and it looks like he picked it up for the Panthers.
Second effort by Tucker got him that first down. When you watch him run, he was initially stopped at the point of attack at the line of scrimmage. Then he just kept moving, and he was able to get enough momentum in order to cross that first down plateau. And now Prairie View with a fresh set of downs here with 1:30 remaining in the third quarter of play.
Davin Cotton came up and made a big play for that Southern defense. But it's first down for the Panthers. This time Morton sweeps to the left side, wants to cut it back inside, and he might have been a little too patient on that play as he's taken down by a lot of powder blue jerseys over there. As Jacoby Papillon and Davin Cook down the line. And let's see, do we have a flag down on the play? No. Just a short gain on the play there. For a second, I thought one of the officials were talking it over, but it's just a short pickup, and it's going to be second down and about 9 yards for that Prairie View offense.
They're looking over at the sideline, trying to determine what they're going to run here.
This time, Morton, plenty of time, going to crank it deep. Has a man down there, and it goes right through his hands. That was Chris, Kalajuwon Chris, with Tay Maurice Smith on the coverage. And that Tay Maurice Smith, I tell you what, he's getting more and more impressive every time I see him play.
Boy, he had a long time to pass this football. That's great blocking by the offensive line. And then right up top here, this goes right through his hands. You got to catch that football. That is right through his hands, and that's first and goal if he comes down with that catch.
Boy, I mean, he almost hit the home run on that one, but the ball slips out. So third down for the Panthers, and the pass is incomplete. Over the middle, Benjamin Harris with the defense right there for Southern.
Yeah, great defense on O'Connor there, and O'Connor looked like that he was going to try to come down with the football and a little bit of movement because of the defender that was hitting him, and all of a sudden he could not come down with the ball.
So Caleb Darbone will punt it away. He's 6'1", 180-pound sophomore from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Of course, attended Barb High School there. And it's blocked by the Southern Jaguars. The pressure was on, and they got it. Now we're going to pick it up. What a play. I think it was Caleb Carter. Let's take another look at that.
37 on that block there for Southern University, and that was a huge play. Look at this block again. As you can see, coming right around that right side, nobody was there to get to that defender. Hunter was just absolutely had no shot of getting that kickoff, and now Southern University with more momentum. That old Mo showing up again for the Jaguars here in the jungle.
And that's Cordell making the play right there, number 37, Cordell Caldwell, coming up with a big play, but again, an opportunistic moment for the special teams, coming up with the block. And then this time the keeper by Skelton, and he slipped as he tried to spin out of that tackle. Drake Cheatham helped him down on the play, but again, an opportunistic play for that Southern defense.
That was huge. Special teams, we talk about offense and defense, but it's that special teams that you can come up big, get a big block, and you can move forward, man, and that was huge.
And just like that, we are at the end of the third quarter, and what an exciting third quarter it was. Southern with the ball in control, 17-14 over the Panthers.
And we never fly alone. You belong to a family.
The Southern Jaguars have the football, second down and about 6 yards to go for a first down. This is after the block punt turned everything around. Prairie View trying to punt the football away, and then Southern came up with a huge play on special teams. So Skelton operating now, second down, turns and hands it off inside, and just going to power their way forward. Jaguars getting behind that big offensive line was Ben, just pushing forward for every inch he could get. And he's going to be very close to that first down before Stephen Scott got it.
And let me tell you, I was looking at that offensive line. They are doing such a good job of just pushing the defense and making them do what they want to do. Just taking their feet, they're driving, and it's really causing big holes to open up for this offense.
That offensive line led by Jonathan Bishop and company. This time the handoff goes to Gerard Sims. And the ball may have come out. Let's see what they say here. Prairie View say they have the football, but Southern says, no, we're going to keep it right here.
And that's where, when you're going across that line of scrimmage, you know what all of these defenders are trying to do. They're trying to get at that football. You know, you got one person that gets high, one that gets to that football, and that's what you have to be careful of if you're a running back crossing the line of scrimmage and making sure you're securing that ball.
Now we have a first down and goal to go for the Jaguars after picking up that first down on a power play. And the officials are going to blow the whistle here. And we do have a timeout on the field. So this is interesting, Santoria. If you're the Jaguars, you're coming up here, you have a 1st and goal to go. This may be an opportunity just to play some more power football.
Oh, yeah. Get behind the buffet busters who are they're going to just get you some room and keep going. If you can open up some real estate there by guys who are 310, 320 on a good day, that's what they're saying. Those guys are huge. Get behind them and go. And right now, Prairie View, they're having a tough time trying to stop them.
And a little bit about Mumford Stadium tonight. Who is it named after? Well, A.W. Mumford. Former Southern football coach from 1936 all the way to 1961. Record holder for coaching wins, as you can see, 180. SWAC wins, 110. And if they're going to name a stadium after you, you're probably pretty doggone good.
Oh, absolutely. You look at the stadiums around this conference with some great history. You look at W.C. Gordon. They named the field after him at Jackson State University. You look here, A.W. Mumford Stadium, and what tradition and pride they have at Southern University.
He led the Jaguars to 11 SWAC championships. And you can see Southern on offense here. They go the strong side on the left side, and he hands off to Ben, and he follows some of his big friends. And you see that Prairie View defense reacting quickly to the football, and not much going on there.
Well, you saw the rotation that the offense made, and the defense did a great job of rotating and making sure that they were not caught off guard. And so they did a good job pursuing. Not a lot of room there. 2nd down and goal.
They did. Great reaction of the guys from the guys with the white shirts on, because they did react to that motion that set the strong side left. So now we have it 2nd down and goal to go for the Jaguars. Skelton runs out of the pocket. He's going to keep it. He's going to score a touchdown for Southern University. And Skelton read that perfectly. Once he pulled it down, his mind was made up, and he used his strength to get into the end zone for the touchdown.
And one of the things that you saw is when the defender had a chance to tackle Skelton, why did he get away? Because he was arm tackling. Skelton, too big, too powerful, gets into the end zone, and now Southern creating a little bit of breathing room down here on the bluff with about 13 minutes to go in this game.
Yeah, he's 6'2", 210, probably 215 pounds, as the extra point attempt is up and good. What a shot right there. And just like that, Ladarius Skelton, as you can see here, now you see him in the pocket. Now you don't. He's in the end zone, and Southern is out in front, 24.
It'll be rainy.
Remind me to bring an umbrella to work tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'll remind you tomorrow at 8 a.m.
We are 2 minutes gone into the 4th quarter, and you can see the Southern Jaguars have increased their lead 24-10. Let's check out an in-season review for Prairie View, by the way. Their offense is clicking, as you can see, averaging 35.8 points per game. That is 2nd in the SWAC. A lot of their games have been close calls. The last 3 games decided by a total of 5 points, and then penalties have been an issue. 112 yards worth of penalties. So you know from that graphic, you can tell what the Panthers have to do to get back into this football game.
Yeah, as we see the touchback here. And here's the thing. When you look at the first quarter, and they get killed in the first quarter, and then they outscore their opponents 81-23 in the second quarter. So it's just, when you look at this team, it's so confusing, because at times this team is just incredible. You know, Tucker goes, the line is just on point, everything happens. But then you look at how they self-destruct. Yeah. We've seen that so many times already.
And we see that just by looking at the stats. Morton rushed 9 times for 64 yards. Tucker had 11 for 45 yards. And then passing, Morton 14-25, as we have a whistle on the field. Illegal procedure. So Morton passing 14-25 for 196. He had a long of 39. So they are moving the balls between the 20s. It's just when they get into the red zone, it's just not quite working out.
Yeah, and this is, this says a lot about this Southern defense, the way they've been playing.
Morton on the keeper. Jumps over one would-be tackler and spins as he goes just about a yard shy of a first down before Davin Cotton put the end of that. A nice play by Cotton coming on to make the stop. So that's going to bring up 2nd and about a yard for the Panthers.
You start looking at Prairie View, this is the number 2 rushing offense in the conference. They're averaging 213 yards a game.
That time he faked it inside to Tucker, pulled it out, and hit Mullins, number 19. He makes the catch as Jacoby Papillon made the stop. So he was a nice job with that, picking up the first down for the Panthers.
Yeah, they got to continue to mix it up here. Now you kind of look at it, they're moving the ball with a lot more of a sense of urgency right now.
Morton has done a really good job operating that zone read, and is, I guess, because Tucker is such a threat. So we see 1st and 10 now for the Panthers. Jalen Morton, 3-man rush. He has all day. They drop back into coverage, and he had his man. The ball goes off of Chris' hands inside right there, but good coverage by that Tay Maurice Smith again.
Yeah, Chris was trying to pull the ball in. It was a decently thrown enough ball, but that was just great defense there by Southern University. And you could see right there, Chris didn't have a chance because the defender met him right at the point where the ball did. That's what you teach your defenders, is to make sure that you meet that offensive player when that ball gets there, break up that pass, and you see Southern University really doing a great job. What does that say about this defense holding DeWanna Tucker to just, 50 yards?
Morton hands it to Tucker, and he had one man to beat, and then it would have been pretty interesting because it would have been a foot race to the end zone. But a fine tackle on the play just to get that guy down. That's always a tough job when you're trying to get him down. Elijah Small was the man who made the defensive stop, so he would set up a 3rd down thanks to Small. 3rd and about 3 yards to go. It's a long 3 for the Panthers as Jalen Morton tries to get his backfield situated. Number 28, Caleb Broach. We mentioned he's the tough short yardage guy. He's in the backfield. They also like to have him back there against blitzes. This time he hands to Broach. Broach goes right, spins in. He's going to be short of the 1st down.
Yeah, they snuffed that out right away. They knew Broach was coming to that short side of the field over there. Great defensive play by Southern. You look at the replay here. Here's Broach, and you can see Southern moving down the field. There was nowhere to go, and as Broach was trying to go into that gap, it was already filled. Nothing but blue shirts.
Jacoby Papillon getting up there quickly to fill the gap. So now we have the Panthers from Prairie View A&M going for another key 4th down in this ballgame.
2 of 3 on today.
Zone read, pulls it out, 1st down and more for the Panthers. It's a foot race to the end zone, and Jalen Morton is going to win it. He's in for the touchdown for Prairie View A&M, and what a great job he did on that zone read.
3 of 4 now on 4th down for this Prairie View A&M Panther team. But look at this. Broach, he got everybody in there. Look at how Morton broke those tackles, and then it was just a foot race to get to the end zone. What a run by Morton, and a gutsy call on 4th down.
But that's how you run that zone read. He actually put that ball in there, and then he pulled it away again. In fact, he had to wrestle it away from Broach.
He sure did.
He took it out, and boy, it pays some big dividends on that play. So that will bring on Martinez to add the extra point. His kick is up, and it is good. Little left, but he got it through, and just like that, brand new ball game. Southern up 24-21. This one is far from over. Stick around, folks.
Pro on AT&T, America's fastest network for iPhones. More for your thing. That's our thing.
The Southern Jaguars clinging to a 3-point lead, 24-21 over Prairie View A&M here at Mumford Stadium. And we take a look at Southern's season in review, and defense is definitely their calling card. Number 2 in the SWAC in points allowed and yards allowed. Of course, improvement noted. Yes, you can see that. Won 2 of their last 3 games after an 0-2 start. And then home sweet home. We know they like to win at home. They had a big 61-0 win over Edward Waters.
Oh, man, it wasn't even that close.
So here come the Jaguars on the return. And once again, they get a big return on the kickoff. It's Christopher Cheney again. He had a big return to open the game, and once again, he answered the call again.
Yeah, the special teams from Southern has really been clutch today. When you start looking at how they've been able to set their offense up here on special teams and then going into the offense, that's another opportunity now where they're going to have 1st down and 10 at the 40-yard line. He's only got 60 yards and not starting at the 10 or the 20.
And that's a huge advantage in a ballgame. It really is. Skelton back out at quarterback for his team. So far tonight, 14 carries He's picked up a net of 55 yards, so he's done a good job running the football. And he starts with the option left, pitches to Ben, and Ben has some room to roam. Ben with a nice game before he is tracked down by 47 Joshua Williams.
That was a great job. Ben was just able to look up the field, turn, and started going. Nice job on the pitch out, sold it, and now look at Ben just taking the space in which the defenders gave them and just able to take it up the field. Now they're on the Prairie View side of the football field, 1st down and 10.
Now it'll be interesting to see if the Jaguars can answer. The Panthers had to score, and they did. 9:50 to go left in this ball game. Ladarius Skelton nursing a 3-point lead as he runs the option to the right side. Fakes the pitch. He keeps it. Nice job by Skelton before he's finally swung down after he picks up another 1st down for Southern.
Option football is about assignments, and here it is with Skelton, and everybody's looking for the pitch man. Look at that fake right there that Skelton gave, froze the defender, and he was able to get even more yardage. That's what Skelton does so well, is he sells the fake. And again, this runs time off the clock if you're Southern University, and now they're inside the 30-yard line.
Man, he stopped Darius Hawkins cold right there where he was in his tracks. So a big play, a 1st down for the Southern Jaguars as Skelton turns and hands inside, and a lot of room for Ben, and he's a grown man. Ben takes it in for the touchdown as he just ran over somebody there. What a play by Devon Ben. I think it was Drake Cheatham, who that's no small feat at all. If it was Cheatham, let's take a look. But what a big play by Ben.
Cheatham said, "I've been run over." Grown man football. He just ran him straight over, and Ben goes all the way into the end zone, crossing into the sky blue. And it has now become midnight for Prairie View A&M. That was a tremendous run by Ben.
So you can see Baraha comes on to try to attempt the extra point. His kick is up and good, but we do have a flag on the play. We've seen a couple of those tonight, and Ben, he deserves a little celebration on the sideline. How about that?
Oh, yeah, when you can run over Cheatham and make him just think about his entire life, then you deserve to celebrate.
No, your life kind of flashes in front of you after a play like that.
Going to have a extracurricular activity file on the other side. Top block. So they're going to enforce 15 yards on the kickoff for the chop block penalty against Prairie View A&M. So again, not only does Southern University score, but now Prairie View A&M will have to be backed up. Southern will get 15 more yards now on the kickoff.
Okay, well, let's take a look at Prairie View's schedule. As you can see, as we go down the list, tonight's a really key game. They beat Grambling in that game where Tucker got 200 and some odd yards. We've talked about that before. But as you can see, they have Virginia Lynchburg. Then after that, it gets pretty tough. You go Jackson State, Arkansas Pine Bluff. And it's just, you know, that's an incredible run coming up for Prairie View. They'll be in good shape, though, if they can rally and win tonight.
Well, this 3-game stretch, Alcorn, Grambling, and Southern, we all knew that was going to be the telltale sign. Alcorn and Grambling, but then that last part, Jackson's not playing well right now. So, you know, you think you might be able to get that game. It's going to be at Prairie View. Alabama State, I think that game is on the road. You're going to get Arkansas Pine Bluff at home, and then Edward Waters. So really the schedule does favor them a little bit, but man, this is a huge game that they knew they had to try to win.
So Barajas, as you would expect, puts it out of the end zone after the penalty. But, you know, if Southern holds on to win this ballgame, no one is going to enjoy that film session tomorrow when the team meets to review the game than Devon Ben.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, because, look, you got tremendous runs, you scored, and then you got a hit that is going to make the highlight reel, and you just, if you're cheating, you're just like, you know what, I want to erase this from existence. If somebody could just tell me that this didn't happen, please let me know.
It is home sweet home for the Jaguars at home. They've won 13 of their last 14 games here at Mumford Stadium, and that's impressive any way you slice it.
Yeah, and you're 11-2 if you're Dawson Odums after a bye. You give him some time to prepare, it's really hard to beat him.
So the Panthers come out. They will have the football after they talk it over on the sidelines. And if you're Coach Eric Dooley, I mean, what are you telling your team at this point?
Well, you know, there's still 8:57 remaining in this ball game. You can't give up. Now, you know, there's not a 10-point play here. So the thing you have to do now is you have to move the ball down the field. What did you do in that last series? You involved Tucker. You involved a number of different guys in the receiving end. The more that you can involve those guys and not make mistakes, the better you are.
You were talking earlier how Coach Dawson Odoms, how it's about life and just living in good things. This week when we talked to Coach Dooley, I mean, he told me, he said, you know, I really like this team. And I said, okay, you know, you really, he goes, no, this is the team. I wouldn't mind any of these guys coming home to meet my daughter. You want these guys to meet your daughter. That says a lot right there when you talk about it. So we'll pick up Jalen Martin now. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. So Martin has a lot of time back there. Fires over the middle, and that one is broken up. A big play by Jordan Eastling. Number 10 getting in there to knock that one out. But a lot of time to pass the football for Jalen Morton.
I think we got some laundry on the field.
We do indeed. Illegal receiver downfield is the call. And it's the second time tonight we've seen that call.
You spoke about Coach Dooley, and I had a chance to speak with him before the game, and he said that he was overhearing a conversation with one of his players, and they were talking about what they wanted to do after college. Obviously, they want to go to the league, but one guy says, you know, I want to be an architect because I want to go back home and really give these students an opportunity not to have an excuse and let them go for free.
Okay, Martin this time zone read, keeps it. He's going to throw it. Has a man wide open. That is Kalen Riles. Riles is going to be caught from behind by Papillon. He yanks him down. And there's a flag. It's probably for horse collar, but what a play on that zone read by Jalen Morton. Keeping his head up, looking downfield, found his man Riles wide open.
Man, you talk about open. He's open all the way down the sideline. There was nobody home to defend him. Somehow he got behind all of the defensive coverage, but he was tracked down. That's going to definitely be a horse collaring call because he grabbed him from behind. So not only does he get the big play, but he also gets the going to get half the distance on the goal line.
They're definitely going to add on, but that was all Jalen Morton setting up that play because as a defender, you have to make a decision. Do I stay with my man or do I commit and come up for the run? And they know Morton is capable of running the football. They did not stay with the man, and they got burned.
And just like that, Prairie View's first down and goal inside the 5-yard line.
I tell you what, both these teams have made impressive plays tonight. Jalen Morton, 1st and goal right now with the ball resting at the 4. Turns and hands to Tucker, and then the light was just turned out right there. Number 47, Caleb Carter with a big hit.
Boy, you talk about getting the ball, and all of a sudden you can't go anywhere in this health. Coach Dooley not happy about that last play, as you can see, but Tucker had nowhere to go. He was just absolutely hugged with affection to go nowhere.
Yeah, there's nothing he could do. You know, you just, at that point, you just protect the football and you just get down as quick. But great defense by Southern on the play. This time the handoff goes to Tony Mullins, and he just high steps it into the end zone. And we have a flag, another flag on the field, but it was after the touchdown the flag was scored. So the touchdown from Mullins should count.
Boy, there are just a ton of penalties in this ball game. Some of the Prairie View players saying that this will go against Southern for a personal foul, and they're talking about it now.
Well, again, once again, they came back with that zone read type action, and boy, there was just nobody out there.
Now our official will come and let us know what's going on. So it's going to go against Prairie View A&M. It's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct. So just as you score the touchdown, all of a sudden you shoot yourself in the foot, and you can see the coaches and how disappointed they are. And somebody's going to have to buy that coach a new headset.
They're not too happy about that. So that will bring on Martinez to attempt the extra point. From Houston, Texas, Fur High School, Martinez kick is up, and it is good. So he puts the point on the board, 31-28. The Southern Jaguars are leading Prairie View.
Matter what?
And the officials explaining to Coach Eric Dooley exactly what happened on that last play after the touchdown. And as you can see, That's not a happy assistant coach over there on the sidelines. Coach Dooley started walking away from the situation, but the officials got an earful, and this is why, because they're kicking off now after the penalties from the 20. Yep. So once again, Southern will have excellent field position after the kick. And on the return, the Jaguars again getting a big break. It's over the 50. Christopher Chaney again. And boy, I can't wait to see his average after this game. He's done a fine job on kick returns.
So what does that do, Nati? Think about your defense.
Excuse me 1 sec. I'm sorry. Another flag on the play down there. They're going to have to sort that out.
Yeah, you think about this defense, and now look at that laundry. That's been on a, you know, if you're Prairie View, just like we've seen more of that dirty laundry, man. Somebody get them some Tide. Yep, it's going to be a face mask.
Wow. That really hurt when you consider the penalty on the kickoff. And then you tack this one on to it. So that is not what Eric Dooley was looking for at all.
Boy, they are the most penalized team in the conference. And you talk about, you know, and Coach Dooley said this, he says, those are the things that kill us. We make a good play, we do something really, really good, and then we have something that stops us like that. And now look where your defense is. You've got to defend 31 yards against an offense, which has been great.
Well, that's really tough when it comes right after you make a score to pull within 3 points in the ballgame.
Yeah.
So Southern will get it 1st and 10 in great field position with the ball resting at about the 31-yard line. Skelton on the option left decides to keep, and he picks up about 4 yards inside. A nice job by Skelton on the play.
And you still see some jawing going on by some of the big boys. And that's one thing you don't want to do if you're a running back. You don't want to get involved in the big boy argument.
Do we see Coach Dawson Odoms now start to be a little more deliberate with 7:13 to go in this ball game and ticking?
Oh, absolutely. You're in control. You have no need right now to pass the football if you don't have to, because you're going to kill the clock. And plus, Prairie View has not shown that they've been able to stop the option.
And here they come. Option right. Quick pitch to Ben, and he's fighting his way for yards up the field. So Devon Ben does a great job moving the football forward. It's going to set up a 3rd and 3 after Ronald Collins made the stop.
Yeah, actually it's going to be 3rd and 2 here, man. They gave him some more forward progress. And again, this is just one of those instances where Southern University has been so effective in that option. Credit that line for getting out on those blocks, because that is not an easy type of football to run an option. You got to have some speed on you to get out on those blocks.
So the Jaguars come out now 3rd and short. Skelton's going to keep it. Runs the sweep to the right side. He jumps over a pile, and Skelton does a great job picking up that 1st down and more.
You got a Southern University player on the field coming off. But again, those guys, look at that pulling guard go out there and run like he's Usain Bolt, and then get a big block. Ben high steps the guy, and then able to get the 1st down and a lot more.
Well, he does a great job of staying inbounds on that play. Just kind of, tiptoeing down that sideline, keeping the clock going and picking up the 1st down all at the same time. Of course, 1st down, stop the clock until they get set. And here we go. Skelton again. Going to go left with the option. Pitches to Ben. Great block at the top of the screen. And then Ben dives forward for about 8 yards.
Man, and that is so demoralizing when you think about it, because you think you got this guy in the backfield and you can't hit him. But Prairie View has not been able to stop the option. As soon as you think you've got Skelton, boom, the pitch goes out to Ben, and he's off to the races. That time, 3 or 4 yards there, but you're okay with that on 1st down.
That was a 4-yard pickup by Ben, as he did a great job going airborne, getting everything he could get out of that. So 2nd down now for the Jaguars. Skelton taking his time, letting the time tick off the clock. Turns, hands it to Ben around the left side. Stays in bounds, does a really good job trying to find some room over there, weaving his way through a crowd before Kendon Jones was able to lay the wood on him.
Now, you notice, even though that time they didn't run the option there, Prairie View was looking for the option, and even though they didn't get a lot of yards, you know what he did? He stayed in bounds. So that clock keeps ticking now if you're Southern University.
Great job by Ben, keeping your head in the ball game, knowing what your situation is out on the field, and making the most out of it. So another 3rd down coming up for the Jaguars. Ball resting on the 13-yard line. 3rd and short, about
3.5 maybe for the first down. And now we have motion up front, and Skelton actually is going to change the play. He didn't like what he saw from a defensive standout, and Southern tries to call timeout. Let's see if they were awarded the timeout.
They were. You know what? Not a bad play here, because Dawson Odoms, if you notice, was out there. They were trying to drop Prairie View off sides a little bit there. Did a great job of trying to sell it. After they couldn't sell it, looked to the sideline, taking a timeout here. Not a bad play if you're Southern University here on 3rd down and about 4. Here, all you want to do is extend the drive or possibly score a touchdown. If you extend the drive here, now all of a sudden you're in good shape.
Let's take a look at some of the standings in the East, and a familiar sight. Alcorn State with a 4-0 record right there, and you can see Alabama State right there at 2-1. So this could be very interesting. Jackson State, even though they're 0-1, they started off the year showing a lot of promise so far early in the season.
Yeah, when you look at Alabama State, even though they did not start the way they wanted to, they're 2-1 in the division. Alcorn State, they are just so strong. And even with Noah not being at quarterback, still not playing quarterback, and everybody thought this is going to be a big problem for Alcorn. Nope, they continue to move on.
And Alabama A&M, they're scoring points, and they're being very competitive this year. I mean, they've been in almost every ballgame.
Yeah, you know, the biggest problem with Alabama A&M isn't the points they score, but they also give up a lot of points. Gave up 23 today against Grambling.
3rd down and a long 3 as Skelton rolls to his right, fires, has his man. That's a first down. It's going to be 1st and goal to go after T.J. Bedford made the grab for Southern. So they're milking this drive as much as they can. Logan Jackson over there to help out.
Nice block there, but look at what Bedford does. He just gets there. The defender gets there just a little bit too late to make a play on the football. He's right there to get the ball. Doesn't try to worry about advancing the football because he knows that he's got the first down, and it's a fresh set of downs for Southern.
That's the best thing that Bedford did on that play, because the defensive back just missed getting a piece of that ball. He made sure he made the catch. So this time, it's Skelton on the keeper, straight up the middle. He's in for another touchdown. And what a great fake by Skelton. He's in for the touchdown, but I think we have some more laundry on the field.
This one might go against Southern University, but he sold that gift, kept the ball himself. Again, that read option, or that read offense there.
Yeah, it's coming back. But not because of anything that Ladarius Skelton did, because he did a great job of executing that zone read and then getting it into the end zone in a hurry.
And I'm not sure that Skelton was past the line of scrimmage when that hold actually happened. Good call by the official. I'm just not sure if Skelton was already past the line of scrimmage when the hold occurred.
So that will back the Jaguars up. Still first down, though, so they'll go back to near the 15-yard line. We have 3:40 to go left in this ball game. So if the Panthers ever really needed to come up with a stop, now is the time for them to come up with a stop. 1st and goal for Southern. Ben takes it inside, has a nice little crease, and Ben is upended by number 46, Kendon Jones.
There was a huge hole in the defense on that side of the line, and so you get just a few yards. You got about 5 yards there, but there was a huge gap, and you're noticing that because of what Southern is doing on that option, they're starting to spread that defense out even more. So just when you think that, hey, we're going to play the option, we don't know what we're going to do here, we're going to try to get that, now all of a sudden Southern goes right back up the middle of the field. Do not be surprised if they fake that ball going right up the middle and either Skelton keeps the ball or they go back to the option.
Second down for the Southern Jaguars. They go faking the jet sweep. Skelton still on his feet, does a good job of not going down, but Southern would not give up on the play. Number 46, Kendon Jones, in there again, just messing up all that in the backfield. But Skelton did a great job getting away from the first surge, but they got him with the second.
That was a great job by the Prairie View defense, staying disciplined, staying home, and they kept an eye on Skelton. Remember, we just talked about it. They're either going to fake it and Skelton's going to keep it, or they're going to go back to the option, because those two things have been so successful. And if you're Prairie View, got 2 timeouts left, you got 2:22 left on this clock, 3rd and goal.
This is a huge 3rd down because you're only down 3 points if you're Prairie View. So they're looking for a big stop. The motion to the right side. They put the power set there. Skelton on the fake. He has pressure coming. Throws it out near the sidelines. Had a man open and overshot him. So it's an incomplete pass. as he goes high with the pass.
Yeah, 3rd and goal there. And that time you saw the motion. They've run this before. We've seen it on film. You've got guys that will motion back over to the opposite side, which confused the defense. Skelton could not find the receiver. And now all of a sudden, Southern's got a big decision here.
Yeah, but Coach Odoms didn't even think about it. He sent Barajas out onto the field immediately. And it's going to be set down there to a big field goal attempt, 29 yards, as it's going to be put down right there. And Barajas loosens up. 2:03 to go in the ball game. The snap is good, and his kick is going to be good. So the Jaguars convert on the field goal to pad their lead by 3 more. You know, it was a drive that started out in great field position, and then they go on to get the field goal to add on. So now it's 34-28 Southern out in front.
Yeah, you got 1:59 remaining now in the ball game. Now if you're Prairie View, you kept the 2 timeouts. You come back out here and you have to remember, Southern University knows that you're going to have to go to the air. They're going to try to kick this ball as far as they can. The biggest thing here is you have to make sure that you're deliberate in your offense and moving it on the field.
And you can take a look at Southern's schedule for the rest of the way. October 19th, they're going to take on Texas Southern, and then Alcorn State after that. So, boy, and then they finish the year off with Grambling.
Yep, those are 2 dates there that I can tell you that this Texas Southern game, but you're at Alcorn and then New Orleans for Grambling.
It's just not a whole lot of room to stumble when you look at that schedule right there.
Not a lot. You know, and look, Texas Southern, you should win that game. Texas Southern's really struggling right now. But that date on the 26th against Alcorn is going to be a big game.
So the kickoff goes deep. And here comes Tucker again. And this time he's going to be taken down at about the 15-yard line. So kind of put his team in a slight hole there.
Yeah, if you're DeWanna Tucker, you do not run that ball out of the end zone. You catch it there, you fair catch it, and you bring it out to the 25-yard line. But instead now, you put your team even further back now, where you're going to have to get, 85 yards to pay dirt. You can't get a field goal. You got to score a touchdown.
But the Panthers have shown the ability tonight to move the football, and it's only a 6-point lead.
They had a big pass play, as a matter of fact, in that one series they scored.
Oh, the pass from Morton is going to be blocked, and is picked up by one of the Jaguars. Jalen Ivey for Southern may have been the guy who got his hands up.
Well, he got those big paws up, and there was nowhere to toss that ball. Great defense there, getting the hands up.
So Morton with a quick pass behind his receiver, but Mullins makes the grab, and Papillon is there to spin him around and bring him back.
And remember, with 1:40 to go, this is 4-down territory. They're going for it on every 4th down.
So it's going to be 3rd and short coming up right now. A big down for the Panthers, but I agree with you right there, Santoria. You're in 4-down territory now because we got 125 and ticking. So Morton looking to throw it. Comes back underneath, has a man, and what a nice catch that was. And we have whistles on the field again. But Prairie View comes through as 86, Kobe Washington making the catch.
Well, that was a 1st down, and I'm really looking at to see if this was a holding or if they're going to call the band or something. It's a legal formation against Prairie View. 1st down comes back now.
Boy, that's a tough penalty in that situation. A great throw by Morton. He connected for the 1st down to Kobe Washington, but that penalty will hurt.
Just when you think that you got a 1st down and you're moving and you get moved back, and now it's 3rd down and 9 and a huge 3rd down play. And I'm telling you, the Jaguar Nation is starting to make some noise here in Baton Rouge.
This is a situation, though, that's not too big for Jalen Morton. He's been in this situation in this game, and he has already converted a couple of times. So now it's 3rd and a lot as he gets the play from the sidelines. Morton gets set, has Tucker to his left. Once again, 3-man rush, a lot of time, throws it deep, and it's going to be incomplete. On the play, Kobe Washington went out to the outside. He threw it to the inside. Smith was back there covering, but that appeared to be a misconnection.
And you could tell that he was going to go down the field to that receiver because just the way he was looking, and that was a great job of defending the pass. And then all of a sudden, he throws it back to the inside, to the outside. And this is 4th down and the game.
And we have a timeout on the field as the Southern Jaguars were trying to get this crowd pumped up here tonight with 105 to go in the ball game. So they're trying to get the fan to be the 12th man out there for them.
Such a tremendous atmosphere here in Baton Rouge. I had a chance to walk around looking at some of the tailgating, and let me tell you, besides some of the fantastic food that everybody had, great entertainment, but now you have a fantastic football game, and this Jaguars nation, which has packed the home side, is just absolutely on their feet, trying to get these guys willed to a big win at home.
Well, it was great talking to Coach Odom this week, because at one point he said, you know, we don't have to be that nice to the visitors. He goes, I don't mind if the band keeps playing all game long. They can do whatever they want to do. He goes, they don't have to have the nicest dressing room. We want it to be like the old days. And so now we have a huge down coming up here. 4th down for the Prairie View Panthers. This is your ball game right here. 4th down and about 9 yards to go for the first down. Morton with a lot of time. He steps up, trying to be patient. This time he's going to run for it, and he's going to be stopped short of the first down by Joe Davis, the senior, hustling over, and you knew it was going to be close, and it didn't look like he got to the sticks.
Well, did you see Coach Odom celebrating over there? He actually was kind of bumping on the players with pads on. He is excited because of what just happened. He was more excited, I think, than the players were. Outstanding defensive play by Southern University. Look what Morton does. He has to test the ball. That was only a 3-man rush. And what a job they did in making sure that Morton never crossed that first down marker. Great defense and great help.
Well, he had to make a decision right away, and he might have waited just a tad too long, because if you're going to run in that situation, you want to make that decision right away. Get to those sticks. It's because it's do or die in that situation. And he was just came up short. But what a play by Joe Davis, the senior, coming at a home game, coming up with a huge play to help his team win the ball game tonight.
This is a huge game in the Western Division for Southern. And they can just get into the victory formation.
As Skelton takes the knee, and, they come back into the friendly confines here, where they've won 13 of the last 14 games tonight. And it seemed like every time they had to make a play, the Jaguars made a play and answered.
Oh, yeah, and you know what? Now 12-2 after a bye week. So what does that mean? When Coach Odom has time to prepare, it is awfully difficult to beat him. And the clock continues to go down. And look, the Jaguar Nation, and I don't know if our fans at home can see it, it is unbelievable.
Well, they have a very nice crowd here tonight. They were expecting 25,000, between 25 and 28. And it's a pretty nice crowd as you look around here, and nobody went home. Everybody stayed.
And DeWanna Tucker, he's a senior. Really disappointed in himself, really didn't get going the way he wanted to. And this game right here, you were right at the very beginning of the broadcast, this could determine the West, because now with a win, Southern University has the tiebreaker now over Arkansas Pine Bluff and Prairie View. So that means Prairie View really, in essence, they're probably out of the division race. It's not mathematically over, but Southern really has put themselves in a great position to battle for the Western Division crown.
Yeah, Southern's in a great position, but if you're Prairie View on the other hand, you still have a lot to play for this season, and especially when you look at the way they played tonight. They made so many plays. Opportunity was knocking tonight for the Panthers, and it was just those mistakes that really kept it from going in a different way altogether.
And it's those mistakes that have happened all year long, with the exception of the Houston game. Prairie View has been in those games that they have lost, and they've had opportunity after opportunity, and they got to get back to the drawing board, because, as you said, they still got a lot to play for.
They have a lot to play for. You can see Skelton taking a knee again as the clock will tick down now. It continues, 45 and counting, and you look at it, and we saw the schedules, and you're right, with the victory tonight, Southern is now the team to beat in the West.
Yeah, when you look at their schedule, after this game here, you beat Pine Bluff, you beat Prairie View. You've got Texas Southern in Dallas. That's a part of the State Fair festivities over there. And then you're at Alcorn. Next big test for Southern. Alabama A&M comes in for homecoming. Then Virginia Lynchburg at Jackson. And then the Bayou Classic at the end of the year. 2 games I'm circling on that schedule, at Alcorn and in New Orleans against Grambling. Yeah,
that Bayou Classic is always a classic and a half. And it may have even more significance this year as the final seconds tick down in this game, and you see Dawson Odoms and the Southern Jaguars coming back home and picking up a big win after that bye week. Now 14-1 record in their last 15 home games. Let me get you to wrap this one up, Santoria. Final thoughts.
Well, I tell you, for Southern University, they're in the driver's seat. A big win at home if you're Southern, and the Jaguar Nation for Prairie View A&M. Although this was a very big loss on the road, a huge test, you still got a lot to play for, and you still got some big games coming up that you have to play. It's going to get even wilder in the Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Yeah, we had fireworks on the field tonight. Now we have fireworks after the game. So for Santoria Black and our entire crew, I'm Butch Alcindor saying we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. The final score from Baton Rouge, Southern University 34, the Prairie View Panthers 28. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. What a night it was tonight for Southern University. This has been a presentation of ESPN.